we go. Here we go. Oh. And, hold on, one more. That was too close to. There we go. We counted.
I didn't get that was a warm-up shot the first one.
Yeah,
so
hey, came into that one dry. So, hello, welcome to the Ride the Wave show, and happy 1 year anniversary, fellas. We did it. We are here. 1 year ago, we had on the great Cole Miller, Corey Dye, and we started this long road that a lot of people did not think we'd make it to this day, but here we are, standing on that grave, smiling in their faces, saying, hey, Ride the Wave, here to stay, celebrating 1 year. It's been a good year. Adam, Tony, welcome into the show today. Tony, I'm going to ask you first, what's some of the favorite things out of this first year that we've done that's been some of your favorite?
I think it's the rapport after some of our guests leave.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like they're going to come on, I get nervous, and then they'll, we have a good time with them and stuff, but I never expect them to leave the interview and be like, hey, that was nice, or reach out to us and be like, hey, that was really fun, or even go into another podcast like Gary Williams.
And talk about us.
And talk about the show he was just on. So it's, you can pick so many specific guests. I love them all, but it's like, it's really cool that we, I don't know, didn't blow it. I guess you could say.
They came. Keith Danbrod actually said we were good. I was like, hell yeah, you coached good. LeBron.
Assistant coach of Xavier wanted us up there after
yeah.
it. It's like, the coach of Rio Grande wants us to come down to one of those summer camps. It's just, I don't know, man. Like, yeah. It's really
been insane.
Cool that we got so many great guests and we didn't blow it too bad.
Didn't fuck it up. We did not. Adam, how about you? What's been some of your favorite parts of this 1 year?
Oh, just some of the, not some of, but all the connections that we've just made with the people that we've had the interactions with. Like, whether it's coaches, actual students, just the involvement that we've been able to have with the community. I love it. That's
what I was kind of thinking, too. We've had a lot of great guests. Dante Jackson, like you said, Xavier assistant coach, Gary Williams, Keith Danbrod, Garen Varus, Cindy Hausman, two-time Olympic gold medalist.
Dude, and came on at that interview was one of the best.
If there was a WNBA whenever she was playing, we know she would have won the inaugural.
What better bird's eye view can you have? Better than ESPN talking to the person that literally played with half of the coaches that are dominating the game right now with the players that are changing it.
Like, it's just one of my favorite things though has been able, because playing high school sports in the area. Then I kind of graduate. I definitely graduated. There might have been some questions, but I definitely graduated. And then getting out of it, for so many years, coming back, doing the fantasy league, going to the games, not only getting into the sports again, but getting into the feel of that Friday night lights, man. Like when the sun goes down, the lights come up, and it's just a nice, cool, chill air going through, you know what I mean? A big game on the line, or, going to a basketball game and it's just jam-packed, two physical basketball teams going at it. So my favorite thing over the past years has been getting back into those high school sports, man. I feel like a lot of people kind of overlook high school sports and thinking that, oh, well, they're not college athletes or pros. Why should I care? Because they probably care more than any other athlete, a college or a pro, because they're trying to make it to that next level, or they're trying to represent their hometown school or something like that. So I that's been one of my favorites, is just getting back in the feel of all of the sports. And like you said, that we haven't fucked up a guest coming on yet. We haven't had one come on and leave and say, that was terrible, never again.
A lot of amazing memories, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I haven't been to any of these SVC, not a single one. I've never seen a single thing. So getting to Paint Valley.
Yeah, we got to ride with you through your first SVC season last year.
And the stadiums have advanced, I think, since you were playing and stuff. But Paint Valley, being up on that balcony, just looking over it, absolutely amazing. Remembering West Fall's cold, rainy day that we're eating cup noodles.
The ref quitting in the middle of the game to just come back.
The environments, were just all different, but all awesome, man. Huntington, come on, we get to sit behind the goal post.
Well, Huntington might have been great for you guys, but that was the day that I found out.
I have written down on our little paper of things that we might have accomplished. Clay's new tattoo.
That was one of the greatest / not greatest things, because we did it for a great cause, but then the enemy has bragging rights over me for the rest of my life. So, and a couple of other cool things we did. We did a wiener dog race. We raised.
I'm wearing the shirt. Actually.
right here too. So we've got the front and the back view. Raised a lot of money. Raised about $8,000 for any charities of any kind. So it's been a really fun year, and we're glad to still be here. We're glad to prove a lot of people wrong. A lot of people thought, hey, 1 month, 2 months maybe, halfway through the football season, they'll be gone. They'll be out of here.
They had us in the first half.
Yeah, they had us in the first half. I ain't gonna lie, but we are here to stay, and we are. We wouldn't be here without you guys. Thank you to all of our loyal audience members tuning in every single Tuesday to these three idiots talking and just having a good time. So after that, let's kind of get on with the show. We have an announcement to make. The fantasy draft is back, baby. Fantasy draft is back. We are going to be doing it a little different this year. So August 8th, I repeat, August 8th at 7 o'clock at Creekside Occasion, we are going to be having I guess it will be our second live draft, but this is the first one that we're actually doing right.
To quote one of our guests, it's going to be our first annual.
Yes. So
I can't remember who it was that said it.
Lori Graves.
It was Lori.
She
okay.
hates when people say first annual.
Well, no, because she hates it when you're talking about. Well, I guess it would be second annual.
Yeah,
it's the first one that we've had. I thought she was referring to the first one. You can't call that one the first annual. The second one is the
it's
first
the annual because the first
Yeah.
one has to be the inaugural. Is what?
Yeah,
is
so
what
it's
she
the
said.
inaugural and then the first.
And
annual.
then after that, it's annual. So we'll go with the second annual the high school fantasy football draft is going to be live August 8th at 7 p.m. We will be having anywhere between 18 to 24 players live in attendance for the draft. We'll have a green room. We'll have interviews. We'll have a station set up for you guys to watch during the live stream. We'll have burgers, hot dogs. We'll have a bunch of kind of food. We will also have trivia. Sports trivia for around the area, and a lot of other things for people to do in between the picks and stuff like that. But if you are a local high school football player, be on the lookout for an invitation from us because you will need to be coming to this green room. It's going to be a lot of fun. And the best thing, completely free. For everybody. Completely free for everybody. No cost to get in or anything like that. So, again, make sure August 8th that you are prepared to come out to Creekside Occasion. We're one team shy. We're trying to get to 6. We got to 5. We got Bill Callahan, Justin Hudnall, and Todd Snowden is officially a team.
Hell yeah.
He is officially going to have a team. Upon me asking him, immediately start talking shit. He said, I might not know anything, but I know how to talk shit. So it would be fun to have him in. If you are interested in being in our league this year, just make sure you send us a message, and we'll kind of talk to you, give you the details to see if we can get you in there. Like I said, we got one more spot. One more spot. Then number 2, another announcement, the Wiffle Ball Tournament is going to be coming up here soon, July 20th, hosted by Justin Jones. We got all the info coming up for you here in a second, but it is going to be fun. I know one of the stipulations is you have to have at least 3 females on each team. It's going to be July 20th. It's going to be a lot of fun for the community. I don't know about you guys, but wiffle ball is one of my favorite pastimes as a child playing. So if you're into that, I definitely highly suggest reaching out to him. Like I said, it's July 20th. Registration is $250 a team, but you win cash prizes. So if your team wins the whole thing, you're rolling in that moolah, baby. So make sure you're getting a hold of Justin Jones
What size is the minimum team?
What'd you say?
Is it just is there a certain amount of player limit?
I believe that you have to have at least 9, no more than 15. But I'm not 100% sure on the no more than 15. I know for sure that you only have to have 3. You have to have a minimum of 3 women on the team. Could make it like a balanced co-ed thing going on there. So make sure that you're reaching out.
Like $30 a person.
Yeah,
for a chance to win cash monies.
Cash monies and playing wiffle ball. I mean, and we gotta support stuff like this because man, we need more stuff like this. in and around
You
town.
really think about it. If you decide, hey, I'm not going to eat McDonald's for 2 straight days, I'm going to just eat at home. You save about $30, and there you go.
Boom, there you go. Played in a wiffle ball tournament, hitting dingers.
Locked and loaded.
So, speaking of things around the community, we're going to bring it up again probably for the next few shows. But the 4v4 tournament coming up here soon, that is hosted by Pick Washington and by Justin Springer. It's going to be for the ages between, I want to say they said 3rd grade all the way up to 12th grade. So it's mainly for the kids. And don't forget that the 3rd through 6th grade, I think it's the 3rd through 6th grade football teams for Chillicothe, all the money raised for this is going to be going to them for their back-to-school stuff here. So here we go. It's also going to be in the city park. So here we go. We got a 4v4, which is going to be a full court. That's the adult division. And then you got 3v3. So that's going to be a boys and a girls division. And then, as it says there, 3rd through 12th grade individuals, and then the 4v4 is adults. So that's going to be if you've graduated from high school on.
Yeah, now, there is 12 teams per division, right? 12 teams
Yes.
per division.
Yeah, they're trying to keep it 12.
Act fast.
Yes, trying to keep it 12 teams per division. Again, all the money's going to the back-to-school stuff for the kids. So that's back-to-school supplies, back-to-school lunches, a bunch of stuff like that. So it is a fundraiser for the kids. So make sure that we're
What is that shirt? Oh, Tyler Childers. I like that. So I just saw it in the monitor.
I
had
totally
to take a look at it.
I thought that was who's the painter that lost his ear?
Picasso.
Yeah.
Literally thought that's who that was for a second.
I mean, it kind of does look like a hillbilly version of him.
yeah. If Picasso grew up in Kentucky, he'd be Tyler
Yeah,
Childers.
straight up.
Yeah, no, I love that shirt.
So yeah, make sure, and it's down in the city park, man. I heard that the city employees make that city park look absolutely beautiful. So make sure we're going down there and checking that out, supporting everybody. We also
Yeah, if you're down in that park and you think you're about to get mugged, it's probably just a city worker. They're
Yeah.
a rough-looking bunch.
hey,
Clay is a city worker, guys. That's what I'm talking. I'm talking about him.
and I can't deny that might look like what might happen there. Also, big news. We got news from our buddy Coach Wilson over at Rio Grande. They're finally having their first football camp. So
Nice, yeah.
shout out to them. It's going to be one day. It's a 1 day, not 1 day. It's going to be eventually someday down the road. No, it is going to be July 14th. It's going to be for 1 day. It's for high school players from grades 9 through 12. But here's what I thought was crazy, guys. It's also for transfer portal players and JUCO players. So if you've been in JUCO and you're trying to make the move to NAIA or
There's a new last chance you here, baby, and it's
Yeah,
Rio
literally.
Grande Red Storm.
Exactly. So make sure you're signing up for that. It's only $50 a person. So $50 a person, and you're getting coached by a Division I running back.
That was like a high school, right? It's 9 through 12, right?
So it's 9 through 12, but then also like the transfer portal and the JUCO players also would pay $50 if they want to be in that. And
Pretty local with Jackson High School as well.
that's what I'm saying, man. And I think the Red Storm, what Coach Wilson's doing down there, whenever they start, I think he's completely right. I think I saw he basically went to Ironton and said, "Hey, y'all can come here." Like,
Have
every
you ever been to like the Wheelersburg website? Like they'll have like previously graduated players or
Yeah.
players that are playing in college right now. There was like Marietta. There's like 5 of them playing for
Marietta
right
just
now.
went down to Wheelersburg. Like, come on.
Yeah. I was like, Rio's got to get on this.
Yeah.
He's got to get down there to Wheelersburg.
We got the Marietta Pirates and the Rio Grande Tigers for Ironton. 'Cause
I hope they play each other.
yeah, like literally, if you go to Ironton's Twitter, it's just like so-and-so offered. It's all the Rio Grande stuff down there. So he definitely knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Ironton, good. Just bring them here. That's weird. Could you imagine basically the Ironton football team with Braylon Robertson as the running
I
back?
was just about to say, come down and snag Braylon.
Yeah. So make sure that we're going down there for that. We're big Red Storm fans over here. And then also PV's going to be having a camp. It is the Level Up Basketball Skill Camp. That is going to be July 15th and 16th. K through 2nd will be at 5, 3rd through 6th at 6 p.m. And then July 7th is 7th and 8th and 9th through 12th. $40 a person. Just make sure you get a hold of Coach Lakeem out there at Paint Valley if you're wanting to send your kid out there. This is going to be a good basketball camp. This has been making its ways around. Osh Brown has been at some of these camps coaching, which we all know her absolutely tearing up the NCAA. Brandon Mothmer, who also has been playing overseas, has been helping out with these camps. So make sure you get your kids out there, and the best time to get better is in the offseason, fellas. So this is where you do it at. This is where you start to be building champions here in the offseason. So that seems to be all the news around town. Do you guys have anything other news before we go into our rankings? All right. Well, ranking time. It is time for us. We're going to be talking about our top 5 fantasy quarterbacks. And I will say this every single week. I will say it again right now and illustrate this. We are not ranking what we think are the top 5 quarterbacks in the area. That is not what we're doing. We are ranking who we think is going to be the best fantasy valuable quarterbacks going into this season, as in they are probably going to score the most points because of maybe the way that they play, maybe the way that their team plays. But we're not saying, hey, this is the best guy skillfully in the position. This is just the best guy we think for fantasy. Tony, do you want to go first on your list?
I'll go
Last. All right. I'll go ahead and go first, start it off. And I'm going to go from 5 down to 1. 5, I had a lot of people into this one area. I have some honorable mentions that I'll talk about kind of at the end. I'll start number 5 with Luke Golian. I think that he's going to be, if you go back and look at the points that he had last year, he had a lot of 40-point games. He actually finished with 44 3 times, like 44 points. Something I thought that was kind of crazy to finish with exactly 44. But he had a lot of points last year. So this, like right here, he had 42.2 last year in a game. He had 44 in another game. He is going to be a guy that I think they're going to put a lot of trust in. He's going to be able to have to run the offense, obviously being the quarterback. But I think that with Buddy Wilson as a running back, I think people are going to be so focused on him that Luke Golian will get some rushing yards. And I feel like that their air attack, instead of – because they had Britt McGuire last year, who was basically their number 1 target. I think he's going to spread it around this year. I think they're going to throw a little bit more than they did last year. Him spreading it around is probably the only reason why I'm not big on a bunch of piked and wide receivers, because you won't be able to just dial in on one. But I do think that he's going to be a top 5 quarterback. A quarterback maybe won't win you the league, but definitely going to be a big reason why you win the league. Number 4, this one, I wanted to put him higher on my list, but I think 4 is a good spot for him. That's going to be Preston Faber. I think he's a great quarterback. I think more of his points are going to come, even though I have Carson Free as my number 2 wide receiver, I think more of Preston's fantasy points are going to come off of the run, maybe like an option, or maybe I was watching some film on him, and he's pretty good he tries to let the play develop, but then he's smart at knowing I don't have anything, I don't want to force it, let me just get a few yards here instead of trying to force and get a turnover. And then sometimes just trying to get a few yards for him turned into 12 or 15 yards, So I feel like that he can be a real threat there fantasy-wise with his legs. But I just think that they're going to rely so heavily on Braylon that them throwing it's just not going to produce enough for me to put him in that top 3.
You're right. You shouldn't draft him at all.
If he even starts this year. But I just think that, when you have a guy like Braylon Robertson, for you to not force feed him the ball a bunch throughout the game is just dumb. And I think Corey Dye is not dumb. So I feel like that's where the ball's going to go a lot. So it just takes away from me being too high on him. But I can see him finishing 1 or 2 in the quarterbacks.
I got a weird feeling.
Yeah. And 2, like how we talked last week, he's had a whole offseason again.
That's what I'm thinking. I just feel like it's going to be huge for him. And
Yeah.
it's like, he can make the plays on his feet. I think it might keep the defense honest. But, dude, I think a big year's coming for him and Carson. Carson was my number one wide receiver.
Yeah, and that's why I think some people might think, well, how do you have Carson as your number 2 wide receiver and him as your number 4? Well, because I think Carson's going to get almost all the catches, so that's the PPR there. I just don't think versus other quarterbacks.
Spreading the ball around a bit. I think some of those, the 2 and 3 wide receivers are going to have a little more time this year to shine. I think they're. Corey's, again, not a stupid guy.
No.
He knows he has weapons, so I think he's going to find a way to use more now that Preston's had a year and knows that he's.
Yeah, and I think, too, the coaches will have more trust in him. So maybe there's going to be some more times where they throw it versus last year where they maybe have just ran it. So I excited to see. Now, this one might be a big surprise for you guys. We only got him for about half of the fantasy league last year, so, didn't get to really pay close attention to him at the beginning of the year. Number 3, though, I have is Trey Robinette. He was a little inconsistent last year when it comes to fantasy points. He was
a Miami Trace, right?
Yeah, Miami Trace quarterback.
I'm pretty sure they lost Adam Guthrie because he graduated, right?
I think he's a senior. Are you talking about the lineman?
Yeah, the lineman, because he got a lot of Division I offers. I didn't know if he graduated
I think he's a senior this year.
Okay.
And the only reason I say that is because he keeps posting offers, but I haven't seen him post a commitment yet. So that's about the only reason. But they did lose their number 1 wide receiver, who was a senior.
Dude, his tape's nice.
Yes, really nice tape. Like I said, he would have like 12, then he'd have 32. And then he'd have like 10, then he'd have like 40. So, most people look at that and they kind of want to stay away from it. They don't want to. But I think he's just going to be a lot more. He's going to be a senior this year. I think he's going to take that senior step. I think Miami Trace, man, they started off hot last year and then kind of cooled off in the middle and then ended hot. I think this year they kind of put all the pieces together and they finished high in the league. And I don't think they're going to have I don't want to say not have a great running game. I just don't think that the running game is going to be their main focus and the main reason they win. I think they're going to really want to air it out. And I think Trey has the ability to throw wide receivers open. You know what I mean? And to a normal quarterback, they look like they would be covered. I think he has a good idea of where to throw the ball and where the route is going to be going and reading the defense and throwing them open. So I have him high on my list this year. I'm expecting some big things out of the Miami Trace quarterback. Now, here's one that might throw you guys off because last year they were big on the running game, right? Number 2, Eric Manley, the Eastern Eagles quarterback. Been talking to my sources and think that they're going to be slinging that thing this year. I think he's a great quarterback. I don't know. So this is where it comes into where if we were doing our top 5 quarterbacks, right, like off of skill, he would definitely be in it, but I would have him at like more of the 4 or 5. But the opportunity that he's going to have this year, I mean, they're going to be throwing it a lot. I think they might be even going empty back set, throwing it. And they got a wide receiver coming in this year that's going to be completely under the radar. Not a lot of people have been talking about him. So I think that he could help blow Eric up. I'm expecting big things out of the Eastern Eagles offense wide receiver-wise. You know what I mean? I didn't want to put any of their wide receivers in my top 5 for the same reason as Piketon. I think they're going to have a whole lot. I think the number 1 wide receiver, though, he'd be probably number 6 that I'd put on that list. But I think the opportunity that he's going to have to throw is why he's going to be at number 2. I think he's going to have a lot of throwing touchdowns. I think he might have even a couple of rushing touchdowns. I think whenever they get inside the 5, if they go to run, they look more to run with him than a running back. If you're going to go running back with Eastern this year, I think what you're going to get out of them a lot is going to be that he's going to catch it out of the backfield. So that should be something that you should look at whenever we go into the running backs. But I have Eric Manley high on my list. But there's one kid that I thought was the clear-cut number 1 fantasy quarterback coming in this year, and that is without a doubt Mason Kelly from Waverly. If you go back and look at his scores from last year, he had 50 week 1, 46, 42. He had 2 games.
Is Cody Sword still there?
I don't know. I didn't really look up that. I want to say he was a senior last
I want to
year.
say Swords was a junior.
He was a junior.
I think he was under.
I know Jace Hurd is gone. He was a senior last year, but
That's a run game. So
yeah.
I mean
That's why I wasn't too scared. I think him leaving is actually better for Mason because he's going to throw it a little bit more. And
yeah, Cody's there. That's big.
Yeah. So
Big.
number 1 weapon for him last year was Cody Swords. And you know, I think Waverly has a sour taste in their mouth about how the season went last year. So I think they're going to be more motivated than anything, which I like to put into my account. He only had 2 what I would call a bust game last year. For me, a bust game at quarterback, he scored under 20. I think that every single week you should be able to count on your quarterback getting you at least 20 points. Last year he had 1 game with 12 and another game with 19. So 2 bust games, but 1 right on the verge of not being a bust. To where a lot of the only other quarterback that had fewer bust games than him was Newt. You know what I mean?
I want to say Newt only had 1.
Yeah, I think it was the first game of the year with Vinton County, or was it the Waverly game?
I think it would have been the Waverly.
Because it was early in the year. Because
The Waverly game was pretty bad.
yeah, because the SVC wise, he was lights
My
out.
Vikings did drop
Like
a
2,600
couple picks
yards.
there that would have
Yeah.
hurt him real bad. So
That's what I was thinking. Because
yeah, so
Yeah.
That
I think
a
it was
low-scoring game too, though, wasn't
it was 21-20.
yeah,
The
which
Vikings
we
just
kind of went back and watched the film.
There was a touchdown that should have happened. I want
That
to
got
say
called
it was Garrett
short.
Brown that he should ball was across, his knee did not touch, and a ref that was in the back of the end zone
And then
called him
they
down.
didn't score.
Yeah, so I think Vinton County should have
Yeah.
won that one last year.
We'll talk to Blake Hoops about that.
Well, I mean, we got a man right now just came on that we can talk to about it.
We're yes, we could wait to talk to Blake Hoops, or we could wait 0 seconds and talk to a man that I've heard great legend about. I can't wait to hear some of the stories. Taking over a hot Vinton County Vikings team, ready to win the TVC again this year, the one and only Marcus Gaines. Coach, how's it going?
How you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing great here in Chillicothe. We were actually just talking to, so we want to bring you into this. Watching the film last year of that Unionota-Vinton County game, and I think it was should have been your guys' first touchdown. Looked like it got not called a touchdown, should have been. So kind of walk me through that last year.
Well, I mean, sometimes I don't know where that ref and crew was from, but that was a touchdown. There's no doubt about it. But I was the offensive coordinator last year, and so if you watch that game, we beat them in every statistical category except for the most important one.
Yeah.
And part of that was the offensive coordinator, namely a guy named Marcus Gaines, did some boneheaded things, tried to get greedy right before the second half, and called a pass play instead of saying, hey, we like the lead, let's go in. And that got picked. And then we came out first play of third quarter, and we fumbled the ball. So, it was Christmas time for the Shermans. Hopefully they got enough gifts last year because we're not giving gifts out this year. So
Now,
Hell yeah.
Now, Coach, I want to talk to you about the Shermans. Every single year, that's your first game of the season. Going into your first year as the head coach there, what does that game kind of mean to you and for Vinton County? It's like your guys' rival outside of the conference. So it has to mean a little bit extra going into that week run, right?
Yeah, it's awesome, and they're a quality program, and so we've had some real good battles with them, and they really give you, in some ways, I wouldn't mind if it was like week 2 or 3 once you got some of the first week jitters out of you because it's been such a competitive game. But we enjoy the partnership with them. We love competing with them, and there's a lot of connections with Vinton County and Unionota. Heck, the athletic director and now basketball coach. He spent a lot of time at Vinton County, so there's just a lot of connections. And I've been coaching a long time, and I thought after I left Vinton County when I was Zane Trace that I was finally rid of those Shermans. But heck, it's even a bigger game over there,
Right.
Yeah. And I remember the first time I mentioned Unionota in front of a Zane Trace team, and they said we're not allowed to say that word. They said they said the only way that you can talk about that school, you just say, "Hey, the school across the river." So
it's like you walked into Ohio State's locker room and said Michigan.
Yeah. No, you don't talk about them tanks over there in Kingston. That's a no-no.
Yeah. Now I want to, because you alluded to last year, you're the offensive coordinator. You guys had probably the best season you guys had in a very, very long time. Coach Carper ends up leaving, goes to Zanesville. Now you're stepping up being the head coach. What's something that you've already kind of noticed this year going from the offensive coordinator to the head coach of kind of close to the same group you had last year?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, head coach, kind of the last thing of the day is coaching. And, most of the day is schedule coordinating, logistical planning, and fundraising. And then if you get lucky, a little coaching at the end. But, I've surrounded myself with great guys who I have a lot of trust, and I think they do a great job. And we're going to be a very young football team. We had an amazing group of seniors last year that were just quality young men, good football players, but, even better men off the field. Oh, yeah. And so they kind of set a standard. And so with this young group, I tell people I'm going to have a heck of a diaper bag. I'm going to have snacks and all kinds of stuff. We're super young. So if I have to take a bottle out on the field every now and then, but we'll be all right.
Now, do you feel like being super young with you being the not first year head coach, but this is your first year being with this team? Do you feel like you like it being super young so that you're kind of like putting in your own things, or would you rather have kind of an older group? How do you feel about that?
I mean, each team's different, and the good thing is we're running, a lot of the same scheme on both sides of the ball as Benton County's been running the last 3 years, and that hasn't happened in Benton County in a while, where there's been a coaching transition, but the players are still kind of running the same sets.
Yeah,
and that's important, because quality programs, they have some basics that they do for 20, 30 years. And so, as a young football team, that offensive set you ran last year, you adjust it based on the age, because youth may not be able to do this component, but they might be better at this component, So, it's not one over the other. I tell you what, we've got a group that's going to be sophomores, and they're a pretty special group, a lot of talent. And so we're gonna have some growing pains, that you do with youth. But all the time that you're spending coaching them up, there's going to be a great payoff down the road.
Hell yeah.
So,
Coach, I know.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Are you currently at practice right now?
Of course.
Hell yeah.
What's the over under that we get a water tower while we're on this call?
Well, heck, they're doing up downs over. They must have messed up.
Okay, so pretty likely we might get a water tower call here.
Adam, I know you had another question for him.
So this was a question that's more a personal question. It's just it's a rumor I heard. I just want to. You don't have to say if it was true. If there's a winner or a loser, just confirm that it happened. So I heard that you used to play with my cousin Jason at OU.
I did. I definitely did.
Now, there was a rumor that Goose, Brandon Grigsby, had told me that maybe somebody just got to the quarterback a little late, and then the team kind of circled, and you guys maybe squared off a little bit.
Well, well, I'll tell you what. So he was, I don't know, Jason's maybe a year or two younger, and, none of us were from Benton County. I played high school in Columbus, and we never really ventured out of Athens much. And they told us about this guy coming in from Benton County. They kept telling us he was a lumberjack. So we imagined this guy's going to walk into some plaid shirt like the Brawny, guy with an axe, and so we didn't know anything about Benton County. And think about Jason, he's got some of the strongest hands that you'll ever come across. And if you do one-on-one pass pro against him, if he locks on your chest plate, you're done. I mean, you got to head slap the crap out of him. Hopefully get him seeing a little bit of stars, get those hands off you. But no, back to your rumor. I shot through the A gap and I got that quarterback, and he might he might have said something like, "Hey, why don't you stay off this quarterback?" And I might have said something like, "Well, why don't you block?" And then and then for maybe the next, I don't know, 5 minutes, we had city boy versus country boy going all at it. So,
I can imagine. Hey, I'm understand my quarterback. Well, how about you learn how to block, buddy?
Is it your job to keep
If you've seen both of these guys in person, you would understand why the coaching staffs are like, yeah, it's going to be 5 minutes. We'll let them tire themselves out.
Yeah, it's like one of those, like, Coach, are you going to do something? In between that? No, I'm not going to touch it.
It's like, would you jump in there with 2 grizzly bears going at it? No.
Tony, did you have a question?
I guess mine is getting to talk to TJ a little bit and being a little new to the area. He just had some great, life mottos, morals, some lessons to learn, some, different things like that. Is there anything that sticks out to you that you want to, again, make just like last year's class, these great men?
well, I think TJ did a lot of great things, and as an older guy like me, he set the standard. I mean, social media. I mean, it's like full-time job after you coach after TJ. He's outstanding at that kind of stuff, and he's a great energy guy, and so we're really trying to maintain that energy level that he set up, and we try to compete every day. In fact, every day in practice, we always end the day of how we're going to beat Uniota, some activity that we do, so that hopefully, come August, it's just a normal night for us. He did a great job, and we're definitely Zanesville Blue Devil fans now, and he and I still talk, and we talk scheme and that type of thing. And he was great energy, created great focus around here, and we're going to carry it on.
No, I want to ask you that, Coach, because, with you taking over and, I know you got practice. We'll try and get you out of here as soon as possible. But I wanted to know, obviously Coach Carper did a lot of great things, but I want to know what your staples are, because when you went to Zane Trace, great. You had a great run there. You had some great teams. I feel like this Vinton County team, you might have been the right guy for the job just because when you're there last year, you come back this year, and Vinton County's on a streak of good seasons this year. So I guess my question is, what are we expecting out of you in your year of being a head coach there and kind of keeping that stuff going?
Yeah, so I told the team right from the get-go, our first meeting, during early spring, I said, I'm old school. The way I build a football team is I find 11 warriors, put them on defense, and then the next priority is find 5 offensive linemen, because I say, there's a bunch of kids that want to carry the ball and catch the ball. That's not a big deal. We'll find them, but we need our best 11 storming and swarming and killing on defense. And then, I tell everybody our offensive weapons at Vinton County are our 5 interior linemen. Those are our offensive weapons. I don't care about any receivers, running backs. Those are our weapons.
Yes.
And we treat them as fine weapons, and we make sure they understand how much we think of them and that they are our weapons. So they usually eat first. It's a very special thing to be an offensive lineman at Vinton County right now.
Hey,
and so
speaking to an offensive lineman right here, you're music to my ears. Music to my ears there.
Speaking to a cornerback, you guys had elite cornerback play last year.
Yeah.
Amazing. Is there anybody sticking out to you this year as well?
We're super fortunate. We've got, in my opinion, I don't think Vinton County's ever has. We have a freshman, a sophomore quarterback, then we've got an incoming freshman quarterback, and they're pretty special kids. Jace Moore, who actually ended up playing a lot in our playoff game, and then we've got a youngster named Cole Oosley coming in, and they're a freshman and sophomore. I understand that, but I've never seen Vinton County have 2 high quality quarterbacks like we have right now. It's just them learning the high school game in terms of speeds and reads and noticing formations and that type of thing. But we're real fortunate. We've got 2 really good young quarterbacks.
Hell yeah. All right, Coach, one last question before we let you get back to those up-downs with your players. We'll say week 1, you go out there, you last-second touchdown against Uniota, beat them on their home field. Where are you going to go for your victory meal, and what are you eating?
Wow.
we ask the hard journalism questions over here at Ride the Wave.
I love it. Well, you know me, I'm a big guy, so there probably won't be one. It'll be a food crawl. You know.
Hell yes, that's the best answer we have ever had.
And you know, now it'll be late at night, so I can't. Some of my favorite spots over there around Uniota, because if it's during the day, I'm gonna start to crawl. You know, at Carl's. You know, I'm starting at Carl's. And then I'm gonna go get a little dessert at Casa. You know what I'm saying? And then we might have to get a little snack for the next meal at Rooster's. So
I'm hopping on the crawl. Yeah. I will be there with you, going pound for pound, literally. So, guys, any last question before we get Coach out of here?
Thank you for coming on.
Yes.
And beat those tanks.
All right, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great, the amazing Marcus Games. Coach, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks a lot, man.
That guy is awesome. I know I say after a lot of I'm going on the food crawl with Marcus Games.
One of my favorite things, so when he's talking about those 11 Warriors on defense, if you're a defensive lineman 4 games, because when I was in high school, he was a defensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. I had the pleasure of my freshman year of being a defensive end. Yeah.
So he's a DC and an OC?
Yeah. That's why I think he's an absolute threat.
So at 135 pounds my freshman year, they thought, like, hey, put this guy defensive end. And it's the hardest thing is to be a defensive lineman 4 games. Like, I mean, the entire drill for like a 30-minute block, 45-minute blocks, your feet do not stop chopping. Like, it gets to the point, like, halfway through the season, you'll be, like, watching offense scrimmage, and where I was a freshman, and just be sitting there chopping on the sides, and somebody be like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, yeah, we're not in defense anymore.
So I'm sorry, man.
I can sit here idly and not have to have my legs chopping while I'm watching everybody else do stuff.
It's like you're in third period, just – what are you doing? Oh, sorry. I can't.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
I love whenever he talked about his offense, obviously, his offensive lineman being weapon, because not a lot of people consider – I mean, if you have a strong offensive line, that's a weapon, you know? Yeah. I mean, man, that guy was –
It doesn't matter who your quarterback is. Look at Joe Burrow. Those first couple of years painted a perfect picture of what happens if you don't have a good offense.
Exactly.
You missed, like, the first 2 years
of your career. Yeah. I like, too, how you literally, like, I mean, Water Towers were getting – he goes, well, they're in up-downs right now. I don't know what they did over there.
That was the best part, because he goes, well, actually, they're doing up-downs right this. Yeah.
Oh, man.
When he said we're running the same schemes, he kind of paused when he said running. I was like, oh, I don't doubt that.
He's like, we're going to be running. I was like, oh, he's about to – so draft the Vinton County running backs is what we heard from there. I like to,
I want to know more about that defense.
Yeah, I know.
I said cornerback, not quarter.
Yeah.
But I don't care either way. I'm glad he got to talk to us about it. But that defense last year was crazy.
I want to go back to – sorry.
Do you want to go back to the quarterback list that Tony and I didn't get a chance to do because we just –
Yeah, real quick, though. I want to talk about something that we kind of just brought up, where he was a DC and then an OC. Like, you don't get that a whole lot, like, especially in college and NFL, but in high school.
Head coach at Zane Trace?
Yes, he was. And he was the head coach there, and they went on a run.
Yeah, that broke my heart that he had went there. I was wishing him the best, but I was like, man, I was hoping at some point he was going to be head coach for Vinton County. Because, like, when there's a guy, Coach Yates, when he was there, it was between Yates and Games, I'm pretty sure. And my grandpa was on the school board and was like, hey, I voted for Games. I'm pretty sure Games bought my grandpa's truck off of him.
Yeah.
Or he at least came and looked at it. So, like.
And he seems like, Carper wasn't from Vinton County. I know he's not from Vinton County either. Kind of came in from and he was a great coach. Nothing against Carper, but when you look at Games, you're like, that's a Vinton County guy. Well, he's like the way he kind of carries himself, the way he's built. The way he talks. Well. I might have said, how about your buck better?
Yeah, the lumberjack thing, he looks like a lumberjack himself. So one of the best linemen when I was in school was a guy named Dylan Bartow, but we called him Tater. Mm-hmm. He always said Games would be the guy. We called him Tater, bud. Games gave him that.
Yeah.
He said Games would be the guy wrestling a zombie. You'd show up to his house, And he'd like, put them guns away. We're shooting on these guys because he's
you
also
gotta
the wrestling
lock
coach.
and drive.
Yeah.
So,
Fight you if you're locked in.
yeah, but I definitely think that Vinton County hit the nail on the head with the coach down there. I
It's
think
such big shoes to fill, and
Yeah.
you come in and you're just as cool.
Yeah.
literally,
I
it's
never
like
expected
His
that
feet
to
are just
happen.
as big.
yeah, his feet are just.
Food crawl is also just period. Not even answers wise. I'm using that for the rest of my
I've
life.
never. Yeah, everybody's like, I guess I'll get a steak or this. He goes, oh, bud, he's like, I'm going on a food crawl.
Judging by the timing, I'm gonna
Like screw bar crawls.
Literally,
I'm
we're
gonna
gonna
start
just-
doing food crawls every Saturday.
And
Like,
you
what
start-
bars go to? Well, I'm not. I'm gonna go to Carlstown
You
House.
want to drink on Friday? No, there's a food crawl.
There's a food crawl, but
You gotta be a Carl.
can we start that? Can we start food crawls? Like that was the greatest. All right, I'll talk about him for
We'll
the
name,
entire
we'll
show.
name it after him. Marcus Games Food Crawl,
Yeah,
presented by
just-
Ride the Wave.
Just so we're all clear, that is not the last time Marcus Games coming on to this podcast. All right, so yeah, real quick, yeah, I think Mason Kelly, he's going to be the number one fantasy quarterback going into this year. But let's go, Adam. Let's go to your top 5 QBs. Who do you have starting from 5 down to 1?
So
I
didn't
want to
really
start at your
have a-
5 because I know you
Yeah,
don't.
I didn't really have a 5 spot,
Yeah.
so I just put Wheelersburg QB just because they're usually an offensive powerhouse. I knew you went with the Ironton QB.
Yep.
So that's why I was like, I'll kind of stay away and I'll go to their rival.
Actually, he left the Ironton's QB out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like I said, man, there was a lot of putting in, putting out kind of, and I'll talk about them with my honorable mention, but I want to go with you guys first.
So then my number 4 spot, I have him as Preston Farber.
I think it's Faber.
Preston, my man
Farber.
Preston.
Yeah.
You voted for Clay in the draft, so I'm not too broken up about it right now. I'll say Carson Free, he's a man that knows his goodbyes. I'll tell you that
He's
much
a man
right
that knows
now.
his goodbyes.
So he's a dual threat quarterback, and I think that Braylon is going to take much of the running load, but Preston will still get his.
Yeah.
He'll still get his on the ground because when they're stacking that box, he's going to be taking it outside.
Yeah.
My number 3, I went with Hillsborough's QB, Mason Dumper. I want to say
Yes. Yes.
I know that they lost AJ Barrett, right? Mm-hmm. As a running back, but they still got the other one.
So
it starts with an H. It's I just didn't want to mispronounce it.
yeah, let me pull it up real quick here because so they got Hauber. I think that's how you'd say his last name, coming back. But they also have a guy named Logan. Hotchestle.
Yeah, Hush.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah,
That's a hard
we
last
messed it
name.
up last year. We're so sorry.
But no, he's come back, and then they have a kid named Logan Elliott. Didn't play last year. He tore his ACL 1 week before the season started. So they're going to have another 3-headed monster back there with Mason being a dual
They
threat
also
guy as
got
well.
a Swaghammer kid. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know his first name, but he's a freshman QB, so he's somebody that, like, if they start winning or, losing, hopefully he'll get some minutes to try to prepare him for, down the road. But my number 2 spot, Mason Kelly, lots of weapons, but
Yeah.
reason he's not my number 1 is because they're going to have to go through what I would consider, like, an identity change, right? They don't
Yeah.
have Jace Hurd back there, and that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So I think that puts him at number 2 just because they have an identity. They might have to
I
figure
could see-
themselves out. So
I could see
points
that.
total. He might have the first 2 weeks, maybe down weeks, because they do schedule hard too.
Oh, yeah, they
did
don't have a
Ironton,
couple-
Wheelersburg,
yeah.
Miami Trace, and Uniota. All that was like weeks 4, like 1
And
through
I can
4.
see, too, where you're saying, like, okay, they might not rely heavy on that run game, so he has to probably get used to throwing more.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
And maybe he's got to find out who his weapons are going to be, but
Yeah.
they do have a lot of weapons.
Yeah.
And number 1 for me is going to be Golian. I feel like that Piketon team has a
Yeah,
lot to prove.
okay.
And they still
You
got
left
Buddy
something
Wilson,
out
right?
of Golian. The ridiculous amount of rushing attempts that he gets
Yep.
within the 5-yard line.
Yes. All of them.
Yeah. And then honorable mention, I had just slipped my mind.
I'll say mine real quick while you're thinking about that. Juan Miller was so hard to leave out because we kind of talked about it. He had some big games last year where didn't really have him at QB yet, kind of find his way. And then I think it was like the last 3 or 4 weeks, they were like, look, Juan, you're our quarterback, you're our guy. Their team played better, and he didn't score under 25 whenever he was playing as a quarterback. And I think, we talked to some of the administration over there. Their schedule last year was set for when they had Tavion Galloway. He's now playing for Purdue, but then he goes up to pick North. So you're playing all these teams
that
Where
should be.
You thought you were going to have a player that
They
you don't have.
opened the season with London.
Yeah.
Who,
you don't
they,
do
they
that.
hung 62 on so many people
Yes.
last year. Weirdly, that it was 62
Yes.
every time, but yeah.
And I think with Juan,
The kid
him.
gets to 62. Enough is enough.
Yeah. you see the Canada beat Brazil 110-0. Could you imagine having 72 and be like, we're not done. We're not done.
Coach was talking about the refs. Did you see Pulisic walk over to the refs and say, "Go celebrate with him"?
Yeah.
I just picture him after Vinton County game. Go ahead.
Go
celebrate
go,
with you.
go there, bud.
You little tank.
Real quick, love the accountability that he was like, OC Marcus Games had some bonehead plays. I was like, oh, I love it. He's a man that's going to let you know when
He literally
messes
said,
up.
I was the offense coordinator last year. Offense coordinator last year was an idiot.
Real piece of work.
Oh, dude, that guy was awesome. But, yeah, I think Juan Miller, him and Sean Smith have a great relationship off the field, so I think you could see maybe some play action with him. But him and his wide receivers as well have a great relationship. I think Juan's going to have the full offseason to get, on the right track. So I think you can see big things out of him, but the uncertainty is just why I couldn't put him in the top 5.
So that's why I just remembered what my my honorable mention was. It was going to be Gunnar the Stunner just because they're losing Phillips.
We talked about him.
Lay off.
but
I had one guy. No
Oh, no, he's our honorable mention.
yeah, he's not on my list. He's an
Yeah.
honorable mention. For me, he would have been.
Oh, he's on
in
list.
he would have been in that 5th spot, but it's just. I think identity changes is just going to be maybe the first few weeks he's going to have to fill it out, which he might take off and score 100 points every single week.
So
after
one more before we get to your list here, Tony, that I want to bring up for my honorable mention.
Yeah, just steal him.
Nope, is Ironton's quarterback. You brought him up. I had him on my list literally every single one until my last one. I put Luke Golian in there for a lot of reasons that you both just said. Those carries inside the 5. But Braden Shrek. One, great last name. Braden Shrek.
You say Shrek?
Yes.
Like the movie?
Well, it's spelled differently. SCHRE.
Hey, get your game on, man.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's great last name. With Sean Terry, okay, you're going to get a lot of fantasy points, but looking at the stats last year, they didn't throw it a whole lot. I mean, I think the most that he threw in one game was 7, right? So you're not going to get a lot of passing.
Is this Max Prep stats?
This is Max Prep stats.
So I just didn't know how much we could trust that because
Ironton's the only school that I could trust because they're all in there for
Okay.
every position.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm with you. Like Mac, I went there.
I love what they do. I just
Yeah.
wish more people knew about
More
it because
coaches, yeah.
I could report in on it. So that'd be pretty
Yeah.
sweet if everybody got it right.
But looking at his stats last year, he had 547 yards, which if he was in the SVC, I mean that doesn't even put him in the top.
Newt Hoops had 2,600.
Yeah, that doesn't even put him in the top 10. But here's my thing: he had 83 attempts, 41 completions,
Is this
11
wide
touchdowns.
receiver that's going?
Mm-hmm.
No, this is the quarterback.
Yeah,
this
well,
is the
that's what I
quarterback.
mean.
Yes,
And he could be more. We haven't seen a lot of tape
But
on
it
him. He
makes
could be
more
more of a
sense to only have
defensive back.
27 attempts when we're talking about the
Be-
Sean Terry.
they have a huge running game. So
Looks like.
that's why I didn't. I think he's a great quarter. This is again why we're trying to say we're not ranking the ability of the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I just don't think because he doesn't have a lot of rushing yards. I mean, he had.
Yeah, this guy could be the smartest
Yeah.
QBs,
He
the
might
best
throw the best
decision
ball.
maker.
Yeah.
He has the best ball. Only
only-
has to throw it 4 times because they're 4 touchdowns every time.
He only had 378 rushing yards last year too, so you're not going to get a lot off the running game. But you're going to get
That's almost as much as he had passing.
exactly.
Like 100
But
yards.
I think it's a quarterback where if you look at your team, right, and you're like, I'm going running back, I have a wide receiver. There's another wide receiver on the board, but there's some good quarterbacks. I think he's good enough to go ahead and take another wide receiver and then grab him late. I don't think he's going to have a lot of bust games. I think he's going to be right there at the 20 to 22 a game because Sean Terry is going to
For me,
get
the
his.
bust mark is like right around 17.
Maybe it is.
That's me. It's like
Yeah.
if you take all the averages, because no offense to anybody, just because certain schemes or certain ways you have
A lot of
certain-
running teams,
Yeah.
especially in the SVC.
Well, like a team like Huntington and Southeastern, they just didn't have a lot of quarterback
Yeah.
activity because they're just run heavy. So it's
That's why, this year, I think whoever takes over for Noah Potter, they could be a kind of in the same breath as Shrek here. I'm never going to call him anything besides Shrek. But I think they could be in the same boat, but for opposite reasons. I don't think they'll throw a lot, but I think that their quarterback will run a lot.
Yeah.
So you're almost getting an extra running back there. But yeah, it was just hard for me to put Shrek in my top 5 because of, I mean, literally the most he threw in a game last year was like 10 attempts. You know what I mean? So I just don't think that there's going to be enough consistency there. Now, is Ironton going to probably go to the Final Four? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But fantasy-wise, I don't know if I want – he scares me. Tony, your top 5?
I guess my honorable mention is David Long's taking over the reins for you and Yoda.
Yeah.
He sat behind Newt, like just going to a decent amount of their games and seeing them. They had a great bond. You could tell, like, even when they're doing warm-ups, Newt was banged up one game, and he might not have been able to play.
I think David Long getting to play varsity minutes on the defensive end, too,
tons of them
will help him as a quarterback.
No, he had 30 points last year in a game as a running back.
Yeah.
So
we know that he has the rushing ability.
Dude, he led
that's
the team
one of
in
those
tackles through more than halfway through the season, too.
I would like to I know he wouldn't tell us because, don't want to give secrets away, especially to a Viking, but I wonder what if Hoops is just locked on one quarterback or if he's going to go multiple quarterbacks.
I'm interested, too. That's why it's honorable mention, because I feel like the stats are there.
Yeah. Now, what do you guys feel about 2 quarterback
there.
systems?
Like, even being a first-year quarterback, Hoops does his thing, and when you have Blake Hoops, Caden Cutright, you have the weapons. I feel like, if he's back there and learned anything from Newt, again, that's why I put him right here. But there's potential to.
I like him coming in because if they use the same game plan as they did last year with Newt, he should have a lot of opportunity.
At
but
1,500 yards.
Now,
but we just don't know who he is as the quarterback.
Well, is it going to be like a revolving door? Like Hoops could just be like.
Yeah.
Coach Hoops could just be like, hey, we're going to implement like the running back system, the revolving door. If we have all these running backs, it's like, let's keep people on their toes, you know? Or I personally am against a dual quarterback system because if you have 2 quarterbacks starting, you technically don't have a starter.
I was about to say the same thing.
High school, you got to put the belief in this
You
guy.
got to have one
and you got to have, like, I think why Newt was so great, other than his ability and everything like that, was like, he was the bone. He was the Well, this is why he's great.
Him being good at the sport.
Other than him being
Really
good,
football,
what made him great instead of good was that he was a leader. He was the guy that when shit hit the fan, everybody looked right at Newt and was like, "Look, this is our leader. This is who we look to." And I feel like
happy late birthday, by the way. I think it was the 27th.
Oh, happy
birthday!
Happy birthday! But I just think the dual quarterback, I feel like it almost plays more into coach's head too, because then it's like, all right, well, this kid's playing bad. Should I put the other kid in there? But then it's really going to mess with him. Blah blah. I think it's just
and
too
then it
much.
could get to the point where it's like, all right, get him out of there. I can't,
That's why I think too. Like my senior year, my sophomore year, we have Anthony McFadden coming in as a freshman. We have Quentin Tessie as a senior. Anthony McFadden was clearly head and shoulders the better quarterback, but he was young. Like, he was going to be bad that year. Well, not bad, but like not as good as probably Tessie. But, if they're right there neck and neck, you got to go with the freshman because they're going to have
I think that's
more.
one of the unique situations to where, like, I wouldn't mind a dual quarterback system.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
So-
for the first quarter it's going to be the senior, and then we'll put the freshman in there to try to get
what
That would
Coach
mess with me so bad as a player.
what Coach Holland
Like,
did is
not being able to fully prepare, get your head right, being like, what am I doing? What am I not? I'm doing this play scheme. Like, I don't
So
know.
what Coach Holland did was like, hey, Anthony is our bona fide starter, blah, blah, blah. But he would put packages in for Tessie. And what he would do is it wouldn't be like, hey, if Tessie's coming in, it's going to be a run. Like, most of the time it would be a run because he was a physical guy. But he would throw it. Now, this is why Tessie wasn't a good quarterback. It's because he tried to throw it through the wide receiver. Like, for me to you, but a 98-mile-per-hour fastball. You know what I mean? So I'm okay with that. It's
I
like,
would
hey,
almost want the packages to be package looks for the freshmen, but I don't know the situation.
well, I think
Like in
just
practice,
personally, they looked at Anthony and was like, "You're the better all-around kind of guy."
if I looked at a guy and was like, "Well, this guy."
But in that instance, I'm okay with the dual quarterback because you know who your guy is, but everybody knows. Okay, to keep the other guys on their toes, we can put this guy in for.
Like Terrell Pryor. Who was doing that in the NFL? I feel like Terrell Pryor.
I feel like in college, Ohio State was one. You had Braxton. You also had JT and Cardell, like that 1 year. But Braxton was more like a wide receiver and stuff.
Well,
they
pretty much told him like, hey, you got to go.
Also, people hate starting freshmen because injuries turns them off the sport and stuff like that. If you're the quarterback that's the starter and you're the freshman, more chance of getting hurt. Just looking at like my perspective, like, maybe he's going to be the package guy, so that way we can but basically like 50-50 split it. Almost,
it's definitely every situation's definitely going to be a little bit different. Because I agree with you.
Almost like grooming him for the starting spot sophomore year.
Yeah, like maybe put him as a running back, wide receiver, but in the quarterback room.
Well, I like the package thing.
Like kind of like Gunner the Stunner last year. He's a wide receiver.
I was literally thinking of him.
But he could come in and be the quarterback if your quarterback goes down, like Carter did a couple of times last year.
And you don't have to rush him back and play through injury.
Exactly.
Carter got a little more time
because Gunner stepped up and just was winning the game. But yeah, Tony, we'll go back to your list. That was your honorable mention. Let's start at 5 and go down to 1 for you.
Back end, it's just kind of personal now because I think it was Trevor stole Trey Robinette from me in the draft. I tried to trade
the first ever supplemental draft, by the way.
Yeah. I tried to trade for him multiple times. I got no feedback because he's a bum.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Trey, dude.
You're probably texting like the wrong number from like 3 numbers ago.
I think a lot of people are sleeping on Trey this year. I'll be honest.
He has it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he could put it fully together, but I'm willing to, take that huge risk and put him on
it's definitely a risk, like a big risk, big reward kind of thing.
I feel like last year not having a true quarterback other than Preston, because I didn't know if he was going to start when I drafted him.
Yeah.
But all that being said, which is a little foreshadowing for my future picks here. But all that being said,
Tony got me on that one.
But no, either way, something about the kid seems like he has it, and sometimes the kid has it but can't put it together.
Yeah.
You saw it a little bit on film, but you also saw some stuff that I was like,
the one game that really stuck out to me for Trey last year was the first game of the season, was that Waverly game.
Yeah.
I mean, they came from behind, and I want to say he went like 6 for 6 on a drive, just didn't miss. And so I'm high on Trey.
Also, that was just another one that was like, I'm pretty sure there was a little bit of like, I don't want to say foul play, but like a little bit of something left up in the air. Kind of like that Vinny County game, how we had something to talk about with that touchdown at the beginning, neither here nor there. I think maybe something happened in that game that was kind of like that, but I don't know for sure.
Another thing that happened in that game that was just poetic justice was Waverly loses on a hook and ladder in that game. Wins on a hook and ladder.
That's what it was.
Union.
It was the hook and ladder.
Yeah.
That hook and ladder
Coach
for Waverly
Crabtree was like, stay on that.
That changed the momentum of that Waverly game, but I don't think it It put them up, and they didn't look back after that.
I seriously don't remember. It's not even being condescending. One of us called the hook and ladder in the Waverly and Yoda game.
I think it was you.
Was it the first one though?
No,
the Yoda one or the Waverly one? Are you talking about? Because Yoda and Waverly both did one.
Yeah, and it was almost back to back. It was like right before the half.
It was back to back drives.
It was like right before the half ended, and then the start of the second. Yeah.
But yes, so Trey. Next one up, I got Gunner. Reason why, I saw it.
Yeah.
I already saw it. Like, it's not like a warm-up period. It's like the dude came in with absolutely nothing to lose.
So I want to ask you, because what probably left me and Adam off is the conversation we had earlier was, do you think there might be a chance with how good he was at wide receiver that he goes and stays at wide receiver and they bring like a freshman, sophomore in as a quarterback?
That would be very interesting to me because, again, I saw it.
Yeah.
You have Aiden Dunn.
Mm-hmm. You have Silas Stewart.
Big size Stu. It's like he's already done it. He's already proven to these guys.
Yeah.
And look at him. Like, I know you might want him as wide receiver, but I think you're way better suited to keep him at quarterback.
And talking with Aiden Dunn, it seems like the players might want him at quarterback. But what we were saying, man, it's how tall he is.
Well, I've been on that too, and this is going to sound weird because I'm switching up a little bit. Langley was also tall.
True.
He looked like a surfer out there. He was
maybe a coach out there likes a bigger quarterback.
You can definitely see over the line.
He's lanky, so he can actually still get yards on the ground.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see when they actually start allowing him to do that or even draw something up for
Yeah.
him. He had none of that. He had a small playbook. And
I was going to say, this is going to be a full offseason of
They gave him the keys to the castle, possibly.
And,
Yeah.
and you have two very good wide receivers on the outside. If he's the quarterback,
I think the
take
big
that
question at
chance,
Zane Trace to make them good is going to be what's going on with your running backs
but
out
that,
there.
but I also think that helps him a little bit because
True.
when you don't have a guy like Blake Phillips, does he get the Luke Golian touches? Because it might not be. Because that guy's lanky as hell. If he jumps and reaches the ball,
That's
over,
true.
he's probably
That's true.
catching
Inside the 10 and the 5, they could start
Just-
designing more
he's
runs.
set
now,
up, but, if they
without
change it, it's fine.
without that Blake Phillips aspect of the
Blake
identity
Phillips
change.
threw for 2 touchdowns.
I saw
he
that.
did.
I saw that.
One of them we were there.
Yeah.
It was
I'm pretty sure they were like within the 5 to 10.
They were.
They were.
They
and they
were-
were happened when Langley was out. So
They
like,
were like the handoff.
that was. They literally did the
Wildcat.
package thing. They were like,
Yeah.
all right, sometimes we'll have packages for Phillips to be quarterback, and we're going to trick him. We're
Yeah.
going to actually throw the damn thing with our running back.
So
But
I really
a thing
like his
to keep though is there's never really been you could maybe pick 3 years where Zane Trace didn't have a great running back. So I feel like they're in that position is where Zane Trace
It's almost like
instead of rebuild they just reload. So they could have a Blake Phillips, we just don't know him yet. So
it's almost like a Wisconsin of the early 2000s
Yes.
where they would just
1000%.
running back,
But
running
even
back,
if there
running
is,
back.
I think that only helps him.
I
The person
I think
will
it
not
can- it
be
can only
Blake
help.
Phillips.
If
Yeah.
they don't,
That kid had something. Like
Yeah.
you needed 3 people to bring him down. So whoever it is, even if they're really good, I'm not taking anything away from them. You got really big shoes to fill.
and they
so-
could look a lot better this year because people are so on Gunna in the passing game that they kind of
Silas Stewart,
Well, I think that's-
makes a jump.
That's
just
why
my
they
opinion.
need the running back is because it would. I think the running back is another question mark that is like they might just be like, hey, kind of. Is he gonna be a junior this year?
who?
Gunner?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, I don't want to say underclassmen, but or fresh meat or anything like that, but just a untested like regular season guy.
Yeah, and I wonder, Silas Stewart, great wide receiver. Does he though? The way that he's built, man, he could be a great running
I was thinking
back.
of that about Aiden Dunn. Because
True.
he
you did bring
puts
that
he
up.
puts the hit on
Yeah.
Doesn't
people.
he do special teams and stuff too?
Aiden Dunn plays everything.
I'm
Yeah,
almost
he doesn't come off the
positive
field.
last year. Like,
Yeah,
I could
remember
see
he
him
was on
return
he was
it.
on the field with a blocked field goal for a touchdown against Medina.
laid down a good. I swear he had like a pivotal punt return and got it out to like the 45 too, or sorry, kick return, and that's why I asked him. Like
Yeah.
he's always just making plays. That's all still there.
Yeah.
Like I just.
Zane
it's a
Trace is
little
going to
bit
be
potential.
interesting to figure out this year
Yeah.
because they lost a lot but kept a lot.
Hey, we
But I
might
think
we
he's
might
safe.
see the Bobby Boucher effect in the Bourbon Bowl to where like
Remember
hey,
Bobby
can't hold
Boucher showed up
senior,
at halftime and we won the Bourbon Bowl?
senior year can't hold anything back. He's playing running back. He's playing wide receiver. He's playing quarterback.
We
How
know.
he's kicking the ball.
I got a chance to meet his dad. Obviously, he was a personal favorite of mine. Great family.
Yeah.
Like he's not taking the summer off.
No.
That's what
No.
I'll say.
Hold on. Can we when we do the draft? Can we do people that we've met like just to give it away like Grandpa Phillips when we were at
Oh,
Zane Trace?
dude, Grandpa Phillips was a dog.
Yeah,
I
like-
totally forgot about
Like,
Grandpa Phillips.
Would that be somebody we could possibly draft? 'Cause
Yeah.
he's not technically a guest, but the hot chocolate that he loaded us up with,
Twice!
and then gave some to the other team too. Good sportsmanship.
Yeah.
Hold on. I asked him, and he literally said, and I just, what a man! What respect! He gives me the most solid head nod. Like, it's okay, boy. Go give the opposing team some hot chocolate.
All
But
right.
he came up with a whole
A tray.
Like it
Yeah.
was a cardboard from the bottom of a soda.
Like to quote the water boy kid, when the water boy has the tray of water, it's like how he had like 30 of them on it.
all of us were like, we're not worthy.
It was so cold we were just dumping them on our faces and stuff.
That was the game that I thought you were going to definitely say
Yeah.
something.
was.
All right. Who's your number 3?
Sorry. Mason Kelly.
Okay.
We lose Jace Hurd. I think he might be a little bit higher, but it's tough, man. You
Yeah.
lose Jace Hurd back there. They don't get to stack the box like they had to before. So he scares me a little bit, but Cody Sword was
Cody
very
Swords is
good.
why I still think he's going to be elite.
Luke Golian, again,
Inside the 5.
mine is just the touchdowns.
Yeah.
They find ways to get that kid touchdowns. And then I'm going to go with my guy, Preston.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He had the number 1 wide receiver last year. I think he has him again. Braylon Roberts is an absolute stud, but I think it just sets him up.
I think
when you have that running back, Corey knows exactly what he needs to do, and if they're ever down in any games, the biggest thing is Coach also talked about the offensive line. He's got an offensive line. He had an injury last year. Like, I feel like they come in, and he's got some big beauties up there, so I think he has a really, really good year.
Brody Wolford from Jackson is another one that I wanted to mention.
I just think they're going to run so much.
Quarterback run, though.
That's true. I didn't think about that. Now, you talk about Preston, it's the rapport with the receivers.
I think he's going to spread it out. So even if Carson isn't the number 1, which that's what I rated, but even if he's not, I still feel like those other guys probably double their stats from last year.
Right. And something good for him is that he'll have a bona fide number 1. Something, though, that could be better is when you have 2 bona fide number 1s. This guy that we're about to talk to is a bona fide number 1 wide receiver. He's 2 touchdowns away from breaking the career record for touchdown receptions at Uniota. He just won a gold ball last year. He's going to finally have a full season coming off all that last year. With no offseason, pretty much hurting his knee. We're talking about one of the biggest threats when it comes to wide receivers in the SVC, and a great head of hair. The one and only Blake Hoops.
It's not the Hall of Fame down there. It's the Hall of Hoops.
Yeah. What's going on, Blake?
What's up?
Hey, so first off, I got to ask you, what are we using for the hair? I mean, it's curly, on point. Are we using
Pantene Flow V?
It is fluffy.
No, there's really nothing to it. Just shampoo.
Genetics.
He's just like,
Yeah.
Have you seen my dad? I was born with this. Now, Blake, I wanted to ask you, kind of straight going into it. This is going to be your first year in high school without your brother as QB, looking like David Long's going to be your guy. Has there been anything that you've done to maybe help David kind of get acclimated with being a varsity quarterback? And what's it been like having somebody that's not a hoops throwing you the ball?
I mean, it's really not all that different because Dave's been watching Newton for the last 2 years, so. But me and Dave, we've been on the field and like just getting that chemistry together and just throwing and stuff. So I think he's ready, and I don't know, he'll be all right.
Now, I want to ask you because we were talking about before you came in here. A lot of teams in the SVC have one go-to guy. You look at Paint Valley, they got Carson Free. You look at Zane Trace, they have Aiden Dunn. You guys, though, you have you as a bona fide number 1, and then you have Caden Cutright as well. For being a big-time wide receiver for you guys. How does that help both of you knowing that you guys can both just completely take over a game at any point in time?
I mean, me and him, we know that we're both pretty good, so.
I love that answer.
I mean, defense, they're going to have to look at that, and someone's going to have to guard Caden, someone's going to have to guard me, and I don't know. I think that's going to be pretty hard. So
it's definitely going to be hard because you can't just double team and lock one down. I mean, you take one away, the other one's going to step up. You take the other one away, the other one's going to step up. So I'm excited to see how you guys handle that. Now, I want to talk because we got to talk to you guys when we're making the documentary and everything like that. Now, the senior class has graduated. We're in the summertime. You guys are coming off of one of the best seasons in Uniota history. What's it been like for you guys being the seniors this year to make sure that the standard's still there and that we're still putting in the right amount of work to get back to that gold ball season?
I mean, we still have that brotherhood mentality, so we just take what we've learned from the past few seniors, and we're just trying to keep that same standard and just that same mentality we've always had.
Is it harder or is it easier coming off of the SVC championship? Because I know last year where you guys are coming back with a bitter taste in your mouth after that Zane Trace game. But this year there's not that bitter taste. You are, instead of hunting, you are now the hunted. So has that kind of changed your guys' outlook on preparation or anything like that?
No, I wouldn't say so because we're still hungry for it. I mean, we're still gonna play for the gold ball, play for the 10-0. So, nothing's really changed like that. No, we don't think of it like that.
Yeah, you can go ahead and tell them. Now we're always the hunters over here. We're always looking for them.
That's true, man. I mean, if you have that mentality of like, look, we're not the hunted. I'm hunting everybody every single week.
He said it politely when he was like, I wouldn't say that. But me personally, I'd be like, hell with you, Clay. We ain't nobody's hunting us. We're hunting them right back.
Oh man. Now, Blake, how's your knee? What happened with your knee last year? I can't remember exactly. Was it your ACL or?
So actually, it was my hamstring.
Oh, okay.
Like last May, I definitely pulled it. I had something going on, and then I eventually just I don't know. It was a 7-on-7 scrimmage. I was running, and I felt a pop, and it turned purple. So.
Yeah. He said, I heard another pop. It was my electricity. My electricity just
That's the
went out.
ghost of Vinton County, bud.
It's like coming before that hamstring again.
But I think it was some kind of tear. I don't know. I was out the entire summer, and week 1 I didn't even play. Week 2 I was pretty limited to only a few formations.
Yeah.
And then week 3 I was finally full go.
Now, how's this offseason been like having a full offseason, not having to deal with the injury? Has it, obviously it's going to be better because you're out there, but are you feeling good? Is it kind of holding you back at all? Are we completely over that hump?
No, yeah, I think I'm definitely 100% with it. There hasn't been any pain for a while with it, so just grateful to be back out there.
Hell yeah. Now, we know Zane Trace, big rival. But first, before we get to that, Vinton County. We were talking with Marcus Games, their head coach now this year, about that. They're like your Zane Trace outside of the conference. So what's it like every year it's week 1. So what's it like in the summer, kind of knowing, hey, week 1, we're instantly in a dogfight with one of our biggest rivals, Vinton County?
I don't know. I mean, the last time I played them was at home my sophomore year, and I just know that was a pretty good game.
It's normally pretty physical. Is your dad ever talk about that? Like how, hey, this is going to be a physical football game?
No, yeah. It's usually before every game. We know that they're going to come out playing hard for sure. So it's always a good rivalry.
Now, did you guys win your sophomore year? Just curious.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
We won.
I
think it was one of our closer games that season.
Yeah,
but I think we won.
We've kind of been talking about, it's like the race to 21 whenever you guys are in those games. Last year you guys were probably averaging 40 points a game, while they were also averaging 40 points a game, and you won 21-20. I mean, literally half of what you're averaging. So is that being kind of talked about before, that during that week maybe, of hey, we're going to have to win this game in a different way than we normally are winning games?
Yeah, I mean, it being the first game of the season, there's always those jitters and stuff. So
yeah,
it's you don't ever want to be 0-1.
No.
So it's always, and them being a really tough physical team, it's a challenge, but we like that. So
hell yeah. Now I want to ask you: have you always been a wide receiver?
I started playing wide receiver pretty much my freshman year.
Oh, really?
Because. Yeah, so all through Pee Wee ball in middle school, I was the quarterback actually. So I did that a lot. But whenever I was in 7th grade and knew it was in 8th grade, I was wide receiver for that one season. But I was really a quarterback.
So do you think playing quarterback before and then transition, because that's kind of like Terrell Pryor, Braxton Miller, what?
I played quarterback 6th through 8th grade. I got to high school, and they literally laughed at me. They're like, what position do you play? And I was like, quarterback. And they're like, cornerback? Get over there. And I was like, that was the last time I ever saw the offensive side of the ball.
Oh, shit. I could just see you saying that. They're like, oh, you obviously make corner.
I felt like the dude from the longest yard again. I play quarterback. And
listen about that. I got popcorn on my hands.
See that guy? That's why he plays quarterback.
Oh, shit. No, but do you think, playing quarterback, even though it was not in high school, it was in Pee Wee and middle school and stuff like that, do you think that kind of helps you as a wide receiver, maybe running routes or knowing hey, a quarterback, when this happened, probably wants me to go here or something like that?
I think so, yeah, a little bit. knowing when the ball is going to be thrown to you and when to get your head around for things. Like, being a quarterback, you got to know when to throw that. So it probably did a little bit, I'm sure.
Yeah, I feel like
getting your head around.
Yeah.
One thing with that I was kind of upset with even in the younger years is get your head around. Always be looking for the ball. So
and I feel like being a quarterback
being
before too helps him being like while he's running, maybe like, okay, I should probably as a quarterback, I'd be one to throw it right now, so I should probably turn
always
around.
Be ready.
Yeah.
Don't even think.
Yeah.
Just always be ready to catch. That was my thing. I'm like, come on, man.
Now Blake, you last year ran the table in the SVC, right? Had a hiccup though going into the SVC with that Waverly game. Are we playing Waverly again this year?
Yep, week 3 at their place.
Also, I'm guessing that's got to be circled on your schedule.
Yeah, I mean, that's when we went back for sure.
Yeah.
We were up, I think, 2 touchdowns in that game.
Yeah, so you're up 14-0, and then they came back and pretty much went on a 3-touchdown run there.
After doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning of that game, there was nothing going on.
We definitely thought Union was winning by 40 that night.
I thought it ended 28-14, didn't it?
Oh, it was 28-14. Yeah. Now I know you guys try to go week by week, just focus on Vinton County, but there's got to be some talk in the locker room about that Waverly game, trying to get that one back, right?
Yeah, there for sure is. I mean, we always look back on what we could have done right and wrong in that one. But, yeah, that's definitely one we got circled.
Hell yeah. And I think, too, like we kind of talked about before, where you accomplished so much last year, you got to find something that wasn't right for you to, like, all right, we can be better. I'm going to focus on this. Like, we can still be hungry because they still have a perfect season that they can go for. Now I want to ask, you have great hands. I feel like not only from just catching, but like
in basketball.
Exactly. Like they're always ready. Who are some of the wide receivers that are not maybe you model your game after, but you kind of like or look up to in the NFL?
I've always said Cooper Kupp just because of his route running.
Unreal.
Being just like the underrated guy and what he's proven, I just really like his game.
His mind is insane.
Yeah.
Like when they're literally like, how did you get open? It's not just like, well, I cut and I made this. He's literally like, they were set up in this. I did this, shortened it to a 2-step, beat him on the right, and you're literally like, he did that all in 5 seconds before the play
Fantasy
started?
football ruined Cooper Kupp for me. Plus the team he plays for, I can't stand.
Yeah, I hate the Rams.
He's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but he's just hurt me emotionally and emotionally again.
And maybe think about physically.
No, he did hurt me physically because I hurt myself.
So I'm wondering, you had a guy like Ashton Crace last year who was just a little bit of everything. Like he was one of my favorite players. I drafted him, loved every bit of it. Is there a guy that's kind of filling his shoes?
The guy I think of is Jack Weingartner.
Okay, we're familiar.
Coming up, he'll be a junior, and he'll play that spot that Ashton played, and he's going to be on a little bit of defense. So,
nice.
He's a tall, strong kid, and he's someone you should look out for sure.
Oh, hell yeah.
Are we allowed to ask, like, who's returning punts and stuff? Or is that, like, confidential?
His dad's texting right now. Shut up! Shut up!
I expect him to come in and be like, no more questions. We're done.
Well, I feel like you guys had a good special teams last year, and I think it helped set you guys up well. So I'm interested.
Every show. I'm sorry, Blake, but that picture. It's every show. I'm sorry.
The ghost of Vinton County's pissed. Okay. He got the lights. He's knocking the picture over.
Oh shit. Now, Blake, question for you. If you had to start, bench, cut, all right? Tacos, burgers, pizza. What are you doing?
That's a tough one.
I know.
I
know.
Okay, tacos, probably I'd start. Actually,
right.
no, burgers.
Starting burgers. Okay. Start burgers.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That's tough.
I think I'm cutting pizza.
Oh!
Tacos, but, yeah.
And it's bench and tacos.
Now, do we give him the redemption
Yeah.
shot that his dad said that his brother messed up? Do we get his draft pick for his
We do.
what is that?
It was the tailgate. So we're gonna let you redeem your. I've
Make your
never
dad
seen
proud.
a father so like, dude, what are we doing here? So we're gonna give you your tailgate plate. You get one entree, 2 sides, and a drink. What are your picks?
Probably a burger
There we go.
for sure.
There we go.
We count mac and cheese as a side.
Yes, absolutely. The
Yeah,
best
mac
side,
and cheese
actually.
for sure. Yeah, for sure. And then, I don't know. You add like just potato chips or something.
See,
I wouldn't be
that's a
opposed.
good tailgate plate. I think like potato chips kind of, get some mac and cheese on.
And very limited cooking.
Yes.
What do you
It's like
drinking?
real nice when you bring stuff.
Now, what are you using to wash it down?
Probably just water.
Okay, so he's stuck
That's
with
okay.
the one.
That's okay.
Yeah. If you think tailgate, too, probably going to be hot out there.
You gotta get some fluids in you.
Got to stay hydrated. All right, we got another start bench cut for you. French toast, pancakes, waffles.
That's also tough.
Hey, we ask the hard questions over here at Ride
You
the Wave.
do. Starting pancakes.
Okay. I think that's what you started too, right?
Between
Yeah.
waffles and French toast is tough. Probably cut waffles.
Come on.
There we go, baby. That's my list right
It's
there.
exactly Adam's
Yeah.
list. Music to his ears right there.
Now, I had a question.
Okay.
Your thigh tattoo. What is that? Because I also have a thigh tattoo. I haven't got a good look.
So here, let me go
Show
turn
it
the
off.
lights on.
Show it up.
at it. Let me turn the lights back on.
So, whenever I don't know if you see it.
Oh,
Do
dang.
you see it?
Yeah, that's a
Oh,
that's a
is it-
sick
Oh,
one,
I know what it is.
bro. That's a sick. That's Jude, right? That's Jude.
Yeah. So this is Jude's initials and his number, and a basketball because that was a sport, and just the wing. This is kind of like the logo we got, like whenever he passed, and we put it on the shirts and stuff.
I want to say it's Cut Right's
Yeah.
profile picture
Yeah.
on Instagram,
Yeah,
if I
it-
recall correctly.
That is definitely best tattoo in the SVC. I mean,
Yeah, you definitely want to have a thigh tattoo from your arch rival. You definitely don't want one of those.
shut up. That was that game too.
Clay
when they
went to
played-
Paint Valley and has a Huntington tattoo on his thigh.
It was for a good cause.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, you saw that because you guys were in the end zone every single time staring at me. Like, hey, Clay, can't wait to see you get that tattoo. Now, another question for you about being on the field. We ask every single person that comes on from Uniota Zane Trace, man. That Uniota Zane Trace rivalry. I mean, we were talking with Coach Games earlier, and he talked about where he went to Zane Trace. They weren't even allowed to say Uniota. It is the Ohio State, Michigan, the Duke, North Carolina of the SVC. What does it mean, A, for you to play in that rivalry, and what's it like playing in a game with, I'll just say, that much hatred between two schools?
It's one of the most intense things I've ever been a part of. Like, with the preparation for that and, like, in the locker room, I've never seen so many dudes, like, so locked in on one thing and one goal. It's on the field, it's crazy. It's something that you'll definitely look back on and be like, I'm glad I was a part of that. Yeah. It was just super fun.
Is this something where, like, kindergarten orientation, like, hi, welcome to Uniota. We hate Zane Trace.
Is it dirty out there? Is there some sportsmanship? Like, what's it like on the field? There's trash talking, obviously. That's all football. But
It's definitely put into us from a young age. Don't speak of them. So,
I love it.
but yeah, it's not the nicest things are said out there.
Now, how do you, it's no secret that Uniota is the game in the SVC, right? So how do you guys take every single week in the SVC, every single week, whether you guys are 8-0 or 0-8, you guys are going to get the other team's absolute best that week. Does your dad kind of ever talk about that, or just something that you guys are like, look, we're Uniota, that's just what comes with wearing the jersey and coming to the school?
Yeah, we know that's part of it for sure. Our main focus is always about us. We've always said, do what you can do to the best. So, we don't really worry too much about the other team. We just want to go out there and do our best.
Now, I'll say this: last year, if there's a first team, kid was on it. First team, all SVC, all district, all Chillicothe Gazette, all SOSA, and mid and honorable mention, all Ohio. You know, do you look at those accolades and kind of be like, yeah, that's cool, whatever, or do you kind of? I mean, if it was me, I'd take a minute and be like, damn, dude, like I'm a first team wide receiver. You know, and kind of stoke it in, or is it just kind of like, who cares? Just give me another gold ball.
I mean, I'm definitely grateful for that, all those accolades, but I'm really more for the team. I just want us to win games.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool and all, but I want that gold ball for sure.
Hey, so what are you doing off the field? Were you a gamer? You fishing? What are we doing?
I'm usually working, but
Where are you working at?
I'll game a little bit. I work at McDonald's.
Oh, hey.
Hell yeah.
Hey.
What, it's like 3 and 5 people, first job at McDonald's?
Yeah. Well, I mean.
Or Giovanni's. You add that in there, it's like 50% of the population.
Hey, anywhere with food where you get. I used to work at Taco Bell, and I had to quit because I gained 10 pounds because I wouldn't stop eating the potatoes. Like the little Fiesta potatoes, like every single time. It was like right above my head.
I wasn't good at getting a bad tip, so Olive Garden didn't last. Dude, we've all
Hold
had
on.
those jobs.
My best memory of you in tips is when the guy left you, I think, like $2 on like an $8 tab, and you walk out of the house, and he's like, "Hey, buddy, you forgot your change." And like he was like, "No, that's for you." He goes, "No, it's not."
There's also a second alternative. I walked out and said, "You forgot your change." He said, "You go ahead and keep it." And I said, "Hold on right there." I walked up to him and said, "Thank you." And I shook his hand, looked him square in the eyes, and was like, "I just want to thank you." And then walked back inside. But we've all had those jobs, dude. That's what I'm saying, man. Wear it like a badge of honor, builds character, probably more than on the football field because you're already too good at it.
We could have a whole segment of Tony just absolutely destroying customers. It is insane. Oh, now, are we looking to play college football?
That is the goal, yeah. I'm
Okay.
definitely trying to get out there.
Hey, I've heard that the Red Storm down at Rio Grande needs some good wide receivers, and I think you would fall right
Now,
in line with that.
would you prefer basketball or football?
Growing up, it was always basketball for me. I was always trying to play college basketball, but later, as I've realized, I'm probably a better athlete in football. That's the route I want to go.
Now, do you like – because I think transition away from football real quick, bringing up basketball. You have what I think is just a lost art in basketball, a mid-range. I mean, you have probably the best mid-range game in not just the SVC. I would say the area. I mean,
As a guy who couldn't shoot threes and 15-footers as far as I could get, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And the way, it's the way you create your shot, that spin move, turn around, Dirk Kobe-esque.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's usually from the spot Kobe does it, like kind of right there, like the corner almost, like sinking down towards the baseline. It's a beautiful shot.
When did you know that you had that mid-range game as part of your arsenal?
I don't know.
Hold on, is that a little brother thing too? Was like, were you playing in the driveway with Newt a little bit? And like, sometimes my best friend, he was way bigger than me. The reason why I had such a good fadeaway is playing against him so much
Just
in
to
the
not
driveway.
get blocked?
I had no chance.
Yeah.
We had
yeah.
something called a blockathon. He played defense, I'd play offense. That's it. He
Yeah.
didn't even change. And it would be like he'd get points for blocks, I get points for buckets. He beat me every time. It was unreal. It really was. But did that play into anything with the mid-range or just something you're always good at?
yeah. I mean, always playing Newton in the driveway. I don't think I'd ever win a game.
Exactly. That builds
Yeah,
character.
that definitely helped my skill on shooting the mid-range shot. I haven't been too good from three the past 3 years, so I don't know. Getting closer to the rim, it's just a little easier, I guess.
That's insane because for a lot of people, like, it's not. Like, it's hard to get to the rim, and he's like, no, I'm getting to the rim. Like,
DeMar DeRozan made $45 million on it.
yeah. Dude, speaking of older brothers, my older brother loved – you remember whenever street hockey was big, like with the
Yeah.
rollerblades and stuff? We always played street hockey, and, like, say there was, like, 8 people, including me. We always had 7 pairs of skates. But then he'd have a friend show up, and then out of nowhere, we had another set of skates show up. So I was out there playing barefoot, just getting my toes ran over and destroyed because I'm 6 years younger than my brother and all his friends.
Building. Being that younger aspect of stuff is tough sometimes.
Now, is it going to be, because Newt's, I know we kind of asked something like this earlier, but is it going to be kind of weird not having Newt around, or are you kind of excited to be like, hey, I don't have to worry about older brother? Like, it's Blake's time to shine, baby.
I'm bringing records to his game, too.
It's like, dude, you ain't the only one getting records out here, bud.
No, I've actually started to think about that a lot more recently, having to, be one of the leaders on the team. Because, we all used to always look up to Newton. He'd always, like you said, he was always the guy we'd look to when crap would start going bad. So, I don't know. It'll be bittersweet. I think it'll be cool to play without him a little bit, but it's definitely going to be something I miss doing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, one of the sickest plays we
was
caught
his
on
birthday
film.
the 27th?
It was, yeah.
All right. Well,
you guys had a 7-on-7 there, didn't you, that day?
We did. We were at Hillsboro.
Oh, nice. Sorry, I did a little bit of research on it.
So Blake, what is one of your what are you most excited about going into this season?
Just winning games. That's really it. The goal 10-0. We've won it for a while now.
Good. You've been close the past couple of years to that 10-0. One game shy of past 2 years, right?
Yep. So yeah, that's definitely what we all have in mind. We all have the same end goal here, so just excited for it.
And then, you guys do have some great history. Like, you have Ben Hartsock goes to the Ohio State, goes on to be great. You had Clay Edler in that class. You had a lot of history coming.
You're talking history from Caden Cutright's dad sleeping on the field in a tent, from what I heard.
Do you guys ever kind of think about that, or is it more of like, yeah, great, we had a great history, but I'm ready to make my history?
Yeah, we definitely think about it for sure, and just want to be those guys one day. It's just we want to make a good impact on this program for the kids underneath of us.
Hell yeah!
Hey, that day's here, man. You kind of are that guy.
Yeah, literally. All right, we got a few more deep dive journalist questions for you, and then we'll get you out of here, let you enjoy your day here.
Real quick, I had one.
Okay.
Do you play that guitar back there, or is it just more for show?
I tried when I was little. I have no idea how.
He's like, it looks cool for the ladies.
Me too.
Yeah. All right, this is gonna be hard for you because you work at McDonald's. Start, bench, cut, Arby's fries, Wendy's fries, or McDonald's fries?
I don't even really eat the food at McDonald's, so
I completely understand that. He's like, get the McDonald's fries out there. Don't even want to.
Does Arby's? Do they have the curly fries?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd probably put that at one.
Yes, sir.
Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah, I'd probably cut the McDonald's fries. Yeah.
He's like, listen, man, the smell of McDonald's fries. Hey,
yeah, I'm around it a lot. I don't know.
Okay.
Great order, by the way.
It is. So someone had told me they're like, you should have replaced Wendy's fries with Rally's fries because they're kind of like Arby's, but they're not the curly.
It's almost not fair because they're also super seasoned like the curly.
That's
you know what I
true.
mean?
Those
it's not
ones
like a plain
also,
fry.
much like the Wendy's fries, if you get them just slightly too old, like I'm talking second, 2 seconds too old,
disgusting.
throw them away.
Yeah, but I will say with the seasoning,
fresh ones,
day old, I'd still prefer
No.
the Rallies over the Wendy's, though.
I'm not eating none of these things today. I'll tell you that right
He said
now.
Dale, I prefer them in the trash.
Yeah.
All right, we got one more for you. Start, bench, cut, donuts, muffins, cinnamon rolls.
You gotta start donuts, I think.
There you go.
Always. Has anybody said anything different?
I really think we all started donuts.
Yeah.
I think I started cinnamon rolls. I have to.
Oh,
And
yes.
then-
I'm not allowed to start cinnamon rolls.
I think cinnamon rolls off the bench and cut muffins.
That's
Everybody has cut muffins. I know
Yes.
that for sure.
I did
Everybody
not.
has cut muffins.
I did not cut muffins.
Oh, you did?
You
I
didn't?
cut cinnamon rolls.
You're the only muffins I really like are those giant ones you get at the gas station.
My thing is I like variety. I have a variety in donuts. I have a variety in muffins. Cinnamon rolls will always be the same. They're great. They are great.
Cinnamon rolls are
love it.
goated, but they are banned in my house.
But also with a donut, you can get a coffee. You guys call them something different.
Coffee's disgusting.
A coffee roll is what we call a cinnamon roll from like Krispy Kreme.
Oh, okay.
We call them coffee rolls, but they're you can get them as a donut. We already got it.
Anything with the word coffee in it, not good. Are you a coffee drinker?
There's no coffee.
No.
Thank God. Thank God. Thank you. Well, Blake, before we get you out of here, we have our fantasy draft coming up in August 8th, out at Creekside Occasion. We would like for you to be the first person we formally invite to come out to our green room. We think you're going to be a high pick, and we would love for you to be out there to be honored as a draft pick. So don't have to let us know now if you're coming, but you are officially the first person to be invited.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah. Well, Blake, one last thing you'd like to say to everybody before you get off here on the Shermans and what they're going to look like this year in this upcoming football season.
I don't know. Just be ready. See what's about to happen.
Be ready.
Be ready,
I
bud.
like that.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, probably one of, if not the best wide receiver in the SVC, definitely the best tattoo and the best hair, Blake Hoops.
One of the best looking coach.
Yep. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, guys.
Be easy, man.
I'm not kidding. Like, I want his hair. The curl, the fade. I mean, it is top 10 best hair.
Just go get a perm.
No.
Right now,
No.
take the hair on
No.
your head and perm
No.
it. Do you know Saved by the Bell, AC Slater? Perm that bitch.
It's better when it's
Is that
natural.
Lopez, Mario Lopez?
Yes.
Okay, I was just making sure.
All natural,
it
baby.
was sick because it would like sit like chain link armor on the back of his. Oh, do it.
Something I always wish I could pull off was like the Jerry Curl Ice Cube used to have. I just always thought that was a cool hairstyle, but
So I
could never do it.
Like I always get either way. Long story short, I have one of these weird curls that comes down right over my widower's
The
beat.
Clark Kent?
And I'll be like talking to somebody and go into the bathroom and be like,
It's like
they
a
think I'm crazy.
It's like a reverse rat tail.
When I
No,
used
it's
to have short
Razor
hair,
Ramon. If anybody's a
it is
wrestler.
the Razor Ramon. Yeah,
About to get Razor's edge on somebody every time it pisses me off.
yeah. Anytime I used to do like the comb over, I would always have one piece that would fall out, and it would
Yeah.
start off looking like Clark Kent, and I'd be like, that's kind of cool. And then by the end of the day, I'd be like, this
You're
is
evil.
It's just
villain.
annoying too, because like
Turns
it will
into an
keep.
evil villain where it's like disheveled comb over, and you're just like.
Peter Parker in Spider-Man 3. I'm walking around snapping like.
Just there, they're like.
Playing the flute like a boss.
If you listen to that without like the audio and it's just him snapping, it's so wild.
All right, you guys ready for Two Truths and a Lie?
Sure.
All right. So I got it right this week. Only one of them is a lie. The other two are truths. You guys are going to answer separately, but again, they can be the same answer. All right. So round one.
That's the lie.
Okay. There's a festival every year where residents of the city reenact one of their most famous battles by replacing the weapons with oranges and throwing them at each other. Number two, in the early 19th century, photographers would tell people to say prune instead of cheese because you couldn't smile. Number three, during the Revolutionary War, American troops once saved their camp from British invasion by offering up their entire supply of rye whiskey.
I just want to say, this isn't true. It's just like a movie take on it, but like how nobody used to smile in pictures because it was a serious thing. The first person to smile is just
Billy Waits died in the West.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
just-
It's like, holy shit, he had to have been smiling for like 30 straight seconds. Alrighty, what are you guys thinking?
What was the last one? Just
The last one was during the Revolutionary War, American troops once saved their camp from British invasion by offering up their entire supply of rye whiskey.
That middle one's the lie.
The 19th century save
Give me-
prune instead of cheese.
That's-
Okay,
that's my
orange
vote.
one.
you want to go with the orange? Both of you. The lie was the American invasion giving away the whiskey. So
I
they
almost thought like they rolled in the Paoli massacre and murdered them at night.
Yeah.
With no gunshots. Like I don't know if they're taking no
So
prisoner.
the festival is in Ivory. It's overseas, I guess. But yeah, they have a festival every single year where they reenact
I
the
thought
battle.
this was
Oh wait,
American.
Tony and I weren't supposed to each pick a truth. Oh, we missed.
Shut up.
That's the we got it
No,
right.
so I can't imagine though. I feel like getting pelted with oranges would hurt like a mofo. Like I don't know. It just.
I don't know. It depends on like if they're getting lobbed from far away, you're getting good punches.
I think it's like point blank range.
What is it like?
like Will Ferrell and Elf, where he's just throwing the
What
snowballs.
if you got like Chapman out there? What is like?
Yeah, Roldis Chapman throwing
Roldis,
100
yeah, I
miles.
can never
Yeah.
pronounce his first name,
And
so.
then so back in the day, whenever you couldn't smile, like you know how now they're like say cheese, they're like say prune. So I was like, I just imagine a bunch of people go like say prune, like prune.
Yeah, I just imagine like that wasn't real because they didn't smile. So like they were just not. They were just genuinely not
I
happy.
thought it might
Yeah.
be real because when you say prune, that's what a lot of people look like. They always have their lips like
Yeah, prune.
Yeah, I
So-
just
like they're
Well,
finished
how-
saying the word.
you gotta say prune. You gotta say
See,
it for like 30 seconds.
I
No,
feel
I
like-
think you say the prune and that prepares your face for the picture. So you say prune,
Prune, and then stop. I
and
just
then they all have
I-
that like weird ass look. on
when
their
I
face
read
like they're
that,
trying
I
to
just
poop.
said prune angrily for like a minute. I was like prune, prune.
Well, that's the thing. You can do cheese.
But my thing is like prune made me laugh. Like, every time I was-
Cheese makes you go chee, like it makes
Yeah.
your cheeks go up. Prune makes you like.
Yeah. Well, you just if you do anything angrily, it's go cheese.
That's true.
You know what
That's
I mean?
true.
Like,
You revert back to the same face, but it still makes you open up a little bit more than prune.
All right, round 2.
unless you put an emphasis on that P. Prune.
Harry Potter.
Draco mouth.
Boy.
Hit the Draco.
All right. In 2012, a Swedish man won a lawsuit claiming he was addicted to heavy metal music and needed a disability check.
I hope that's true, dude. I'm praying that's true.
The opposite of warmth is coolth. And bananas at one time used to be blue.
The bananas one is fake.
Okay.
Middle one.
The opposite of warmth is coolth.
Yeah.
So Adam got this one right. The banana one is the lie.
Fun fact about bananas, the bananas that we eat today is actually a hybrid of the original banana. That's why the artificial banana tastes different than regular banana. Just saying.
That is why I almost didn't put that in there, but because I knew you knew that. But I was
Love
like,
bananas.
I was like, maybe he'll know. No, the coolth. That got me.
I was like, there's no way that one's fake because of the ketchup being medicine.
Yeah.
That one's automatically true.
Well, like I typed that, like I saw that, and I kept typing it into my iPhone, and I'm like, yeah, no, it's saying that's a word. But no, gotta get back to this. So this man goes to the court and says, I'm addicted to heavy metal music, and I need a disability check to go to concerts so that I can be able to live, but have money to live off of. And they said, okay, he won the case.
I just imagine that I almost called him a
The
ref.
fucking
the
Swedes,
judge,
man.
The judge was probably just like, rock on, brother.
Yeah. I'm coming with you.
Yeah. What's this ailment called? I think I might be coming down with a touch of the sickness.
Exhibit A. Have you ever heard of Judas Priest? It's like just rolls in.
Have you ever
How does
heard?
this make you feel?
He coughs like, wah! Like that's his cough.
Have you ever heard that Norm Macdonald joke where he talks about people having diseases? He's like, I have a disease called alcoholism. He goes, side effects are I'm happy a lot, like get kind of hungry, like like.
Norm Macdonald has some of the best jokes, dude.
I love Norm. All right, round 3. Adam is 1-1. Tony, you're 0-2. So you could get this one right and tie with Adam, or Adam get this right and win the game. Round 3. These are all crazy laws. In Ohio, bakeries can't sell loaves of bread that weigh less than 12 ounces. In Arizona, it is illegal for a donkey to sleep in a bathtub. Or 3, in Indiana, it is illegal to ride horseback on a college campus.
We repeat the first two.
Yeah. Number 1, bakeries in Ohio can't sell loaves of bread that weigh less than 12 ounces.
What's the second one?
In Arizona, it is illegal for a donkey to sleep in a bathtub.
I think that the false one is going to be the horse one. I think you are allowed to ride horses on campus in Indiana.
Okay.
The first one.
The first one? Adam is right again. The India. I almost went with it's illegal to use Bob Knight's name in vain, but not. I think that might be true.
I had no chance of winning if he had it, so I had to pick one.
You had to play the game in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, play the game in the game.
Fun fact about something that's illegal in Louisville, right across the river from Indiana.
Across the pond?
Yeah, right across the. Well, it's not quite as big as a pond, but anyways, you cannot put. If you get pulled over and you have chocolate in your back pocket, you can get a ticket for that.
What?
Yeah, you cannot have chocolate in your back pocket because they used to put chocolate in their back pocket and lead race horses away from their stables because they're trying to eat the chocolate out of the person's. And
then they steal the horse?
I didn't touch the horse. He's following me. I didn't. And then would steal it when they're out of the way. Yeah.
That that shouldn't be illegal because of how genius that is.
It's
I
either
would have never
chocolate or ice cream. I'd have to double check with my cousin, but
ice cream in your back pocket?
Yeah, like it's why would you do it? To steal a horse. But like,
can you imagine just taking an ice cream cone? I'm gonna put this in my back pocket real quick. So
that's why I'm pretty sure it's chocolate, but it's because it'll like lead horses away.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I got all kinds of fun facts for you.
Like,
the Bombay cat was made in Louisville because they were trying to make a parlor panther, and it's just a panther-like cat.
Some laws exist because someone thought, like, hey, no one should ever have to do this. And the other laws exist because there's a great story behind that law.
I wonder how many times, because if you're working for a Triple Crown, like you're trying to get a Triple Crown and your horse goes missing, somebody stole it from you, you lose hundreds of thousands of dollars. Nowadays, millions.
Could you imagine they found out, too, it was like they put a Butterfinger and they're like, I'm boycotting Butterfinger. Yeah. Like, the worst candy of all time, never want it ever again.
And the horse's name was Butterfinger?
Oh, like Inception. Big news to announce. We are adding another fantasy league this year, Adam. Fantasy volleyball is coming here soon on the Ride the Wave show. We realized that we did great in fantasy football last year. We want to expand on it. Also, we want to learn more about volleyball. So we thought the best way to do it is have a volleyball fantasy league. So make sure that you're keeping your eyes on that. We'll actually have that as just one of our drafts at the end of an episode coming up here soon. So first, we got to figure out who's good out there. So, hey, if you have some volleyball players that you think are the best in the league, shoot their names over our way. So
if you have any suggestions on how to score volleyball fantasy,
also send that our way.
Suggestions in the comments just in case.
Just so we're all clear, we are winging this at the beginning. So, Adam, did you have stuff for your courtroom today?
Yeah, but just because of time, we can kind of keep it fresh so I can save them for next week.
All right,
have to think of more.
So, who won the poll for our draft order?
Let's check a look here.
Also,
Clay, you're going to be one vote short of what you're supposed to have because you voted wrong. You voted with the Ride the Wave thing instead of your own.
Yeah, I was trying to cheat. Duh.
So instead of having 11, you have 10. So it goes you, Tony, me.
Clay, Tony, Adam. Now, are we doing what for our 1-year anniversary, a battle royale of our former guests?
I wouldn't necessarily put the battle royale
I
label
don't
on
like
it.
the battle royale label,
but just drafting like your
I even
favorites.
thought about doing the bank heist one as well, where it was at least we could make them be like, oh, they're shit.
I like that. I like. All right, let's just draft our favorites. How about that?
That
okay.
works.
I'll go first.
Yeah, you won.
Yeah, I think man, this is a hard 101 pick. I'm going to go completely off of what would childhood Clay be most pumped about. We had a lot of great guests, a lot of historic people. My number one, though, is going to be Humpty Hitchens.
I figured that was going to be your number one when you said childhood.
He was my LeBron growing up. So getting to have him on the show.
I think I know how these first 3 picks are going to go, but I don't
know. So I'm going to take Humpty. Who I really thought about taking first. I don't think is even going to make it to Adam. So, Tony, I'll go with you. Who's going to be your number one pick?
TJ Carper.
Wow. Did not see that at
Oh,
all.
dude, and it's an easy one. I know what you wanted me to say.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That interview.
I might not pick him just to see if it gets back. To
I
him,
know.
because I know.
Oh, dude, I'll get hype if it gets back, but I have to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh
When
wait.
I walked away from that, there were one-liners that stuck in my head. The next week at work, I'm literally sitting there. You might do everything right this week and not get the results you want. Don't be pissed off.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes
like,
you do everything right, and you don't get the outcome you want. That's the one that sticks in my head the most.
That's
he
what I
said.
just said.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, it's tough.
Yeah.
It really is. But that interview to me just stuck.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the stuff that he said was just real big.
You
for
took
me.
my number 5 spot because
Fair
I
enough,
thought
fair
you guys
enough,
were
fair
never going to go there. I could
All
wait.
right, Adam, you got 2 in a row.
I'm going Dante Jackson.
Yep. I really wanted to take him first. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Dante. I'm sorry.
No, they're amazing, and some of the greatest moments.
We're going to piss off some
guests.
guests today. Let's just be clear.
And I would take 2 other people here, but because I just have a feeling Tony's going to at least get one of them. I'm going to give him the shot. I'm going to go Moose Miller.
Oh, nice.
Moose Miller.
Nice. Moose. He was a great interview, too.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of people everywhere, so just in case you saw my list, you wouldn't.
All right.
You know, I have like ADHD, so I look at stuff, but I like never
Oh, no, that's-
Read it,
that's-
yeah.
I could sit here and be like,
What is
still not having name off it.
You can actually physically read them and then be like, I don't know any of this.
I still have the 5 I wanted.
Yeah. All right, Tony, going back to you. Garen Maris! Damn it,
There we
dude.
go.
When you sat there and paused, I was like, I'm going to get him. I'm going to get Garen.
I have to, obviously, being part of the UNESCO thing, coming back on, he's not as bigly involved with it, but taking care of his mom. I've been there, done that as well.
Yeah.
I just feel for it. And also, I like the
wait,
timing of
real
guests.
quick. He was in a car accident a couple of weeks ago. Seems like he's doing good, but T's and P's to Garen, hopefully on a fast recovery.
Hopefully the car's okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
the other car.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like he's
Now,
no, seriously.
one of
Glad
the
he's
reasons
okay.
that he was my favorite was him putting us on to the mounds, becoming an
That's the
yeah.
UNESCO stuff. It's,
Yeah.
we're a World Heritage Site. He was big in getting it here. He had to take a step back, and again, for right reasons. So,
Yeah.
And I like the timing of guests. So coming on right before the Super Bowl, getting to talk about some of his moments might foreshadow another one of the picks that I kind of said earlier, so don't take them, dirtbags. But the placement of guests is big for me, too. Like the right guest at the right time, and he hit me hard with both of them, honestly.
All right, so my second pick.
Plus, I had to yell Garen Paris. God, it feels good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I thought Dante Jackson though was the clear number 1, like a 1 of 1.
He was.
So what I'll
He was,
say
but
is,
Humpty man just
Yeah.
made so Humpty probably could have made it back to me. I just didn't want
To risk it.
I like
risk
the
it to
passion
come
of
back,
it.
yeah.
Dante changed our lives. We'll
Dante
probably-
changed the show.
We will
Like,
never sit courtside again in our lives
No.
unless Dante
Oh, I've
lets us
bought
again.
courtside tickets, and you can't buy the tickets he gave us.
Literally
And
not
that's why
available.
it's so much more
Yeah.
special. Like I sat courtside on my birthday, watched the Knicks beat the piss out of the Pacers, like, and the Dante Jackson seats were still that means more to me, and it wasn't on
Dude,
my
and
birthday. It's
should we talk about Halston, the guy at all that told us we didn't? I highly doubt these are your seats.
The guy was
the,
like,
the national anthem plays and he's posturing over me and stuff, and I'm like, dude, go away. We get the old guy and we're like, hey man, where are these seats at? And he was like, oh, come with me. And we started.
that
walking
guy
down.
was so pissed.
I turned around and waved. It was just like, hey buddy, hope you find your dad. We'll be down here on the floor, bud.
Tony, the whole time we're walking to our seats is just.
Because, dude, he tried to horse us. He was like, come on, guys. I highly doubt these are your seats.
All right.
I hope the beer spiller spilled some beer on him.
I hate that guy. I'm going to disrespect to at least one guest right now, but this is going to be a draft from my heart today. And this is a guy that I didn't even know until we started the show. And since he's come on our show, has been a great friend to me. I think he's one of the coolest dudes I've ever met. I've ran into him quite a few times, like in person. Scott Tomlinson, dude, is a GOAT person. I mean, he's a great.
He was, as a bartender at Applebee's, he was one of the favorite people for me to see.
because like he came in and like you could shoot the shit with him. It was every time I see.
If I was working in the back making food, you would come get me.
I mean,
would
hey,
come
Scott's
out-
up there, and you're like, I'm coming.
I'm like, I'm bringing. He's getting wings. I'm bringing him. I'm delivering his wings
Yes.
to him. He's
And
hell
the
of a
cool
guy.
thing is, man, like he's a football coach, right? Every time I see him, I feel like one of the last or few things we talk about is football. Which I meant to say this earlier in the show. I went and saw Afro Man in the middle of a field on Saturday. He was there.
Yeah.
It was awesome, dude. Like, well, Afro Man sucked ass. He was an hour and a half late and sang 2 songs for 30 minutes. I was quite pissed off.
I'm gonna play my favorite song.
He literally went up there and sang Colt 45 and Because I Got High, and then looked at the crowd and was like, what do you want to hear? I heard like Palmdale, like 6 different songs. He goes, Because I Got High, got it. I'm like, Jesus Christ. It was great festival, but Afro Man wasn't. Yeah. And then
Trevor ruins it on Snapchat.
and then number 3. I'm going with this one because I don't think he'll make it past Tony. Gary Williams.
That's who I thought your number. That's who I thought his first
Do you
pick
know
was going
what's
to be.
nuts?
And then
He's not in my top 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, then when you said, "Oh, I
has
know," and I was like,
nothing-
"Oh, he's getting Garen."
I'm going a little bit of passion with it, but we had our moments, and like I said, the after moments are some of my favorite things, and he is graciously enough went on another podcast and talked about us.
So the fact that he was so real with, I mean, he's a national champion, Hall of Fame coach, and just kind of called us like in his hallway, which some people might look like he called you in this hallway of his house like a bad thing. I think that's cool as hell. I think it's just like, yeah, man, I'm just gonna call him like my buddies. And 2
Look,
or 3,
I've called him multiple times. You call him when you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Where you can do it.
Yeah.
Different things like that. If he feels comfortable with his setup, the way the phone can be, and different things, rock it.
And number 3 is he texted Shu after the thing. He said that was one of the most unique interviews I've ever had. And he does not like go try and find Gary Williams on a podcast or a talk show. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't come out for a lot of people. So I just kind of felt honored that he decided to come out for our show. You know,
Especially in today's world where every word people can
Yeah.
retweet and do all these things.
Exactly.
For him to not go on an established podcast that he knows is safe.
Yeah.
Come on here, have a great time, and not even come in scared. He
Yeah.
was talking like a real
like a
human
real
being from
person. Yeah. Tony, we're going back to you for your 3rd pick. Who are you picking?
Cindy.
Oh shit! I thought I was going to steal her at the
Again,
end.
I like the time placement of guests. She comes on more than once. She's absolutely amazing. The first interview, we're kind of looking for a guest to like make us thirsty. Talking to her, she's talking about getting the VHS recorded tape of the Chinese volleyball team
Yeah.
to go on and win the first state championship. Like, just great first
The
interview.
first state championship in volleyball, basketball.
If they
the
started
SEC,
a tournament, she was winning it.
She has all the
inaugural
accolades.
SEC.
But that's the stuff I hang on to.
Yeah.
Like, literally, you rolled in a TV, put in the Chinese Olympic men's volleyball team, and said, this is your coach, pretty much. And then come out and still be dogs. Like, absolutely amazing. Second interview was right before, when we're getting the Caitlin Clark, Angel
I was gonna
Reese
say, it's
stuff,
right in the middle of that Caitlin
very
Clark,
beginning of
Angel
it.
Reese.
And she pulls out, knowing Kim Mulkey and,
Yeah.
and all of these things. Like,
Played with Kim. I love my favorite thing about that second interview. She's like, liked her when I played with her. Oh, nah.
Yeah.
and then we were like,
she
later
only
in the
played with her-
interview, she's like, I'm just glad Kim didn't win. She's like,
She played with her on the Olympic team, right? And that's
Yeah.
the only time. That's what I thought.
it kept the receipts. Let me tell you, she kept the
I
receipts.
guarantee she knows how many shot attempts she got in each one of those games.
Oh yeah, I bet she knows how many times she blocked her shot.
But
Whatever. she-
amazing interview person as well.
Yes.
I like the ones I walked away that I was like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And definitely one.
All right, Adam, you got 2.
I'm gonna have to go with Ben Hartsock.
Damn. All right.
One of the most well-spoken interviews. I got the opportunity to meet Judy Reese, his English teacher, and I
almost-
see why he's good.
I almost want to be like, can we do like 7?
I'm okay with doing 6.
That's fine. We already
Yeah.
said we
Perfect.
could
There
go
we
through the list. We can get a
Yeah.
chance to. If we
There
have
we
to
go.
do honorable mentions, we'll do
Yeah,
it.
but I wanted to go with Ben in that Gary Williams one. It's just I don't know. I don't really have.
Gary fucking Williams,
Yeah.
bud.
Yeah.
insane.
But Ben Hartsock, man, great.
To me, that was one of our best interactions ever because we've seen ESPN, we've seen all these writers talk about NIL, how it affects the player and how they feel about the.
He had a pretty original take, I think, too.
It was
just hearing what he was talking
perfectly
about.
said. Everything that he said is exactly how I felt.
Like the Miami the national championship against Miami, like his unique perspective about like, hey, I was on the field looking at it from this angle. I saw the agonizing pain that referee was going through, having to make that decision.
I gotta throw this flag, but I don't want to. Yeah. I thought too, real quick, when Ben laid that out, because it was opposite, kind of like how we feel, like he's more for like, fuck the NIL, blah, blah. And my favorite thing was Tony was like, well said. Didn't change my mind, but really well said.
I'm honest. Yeah. It's like I can appreciate the vernacular. And even Judy Hoops, I apologize.
Yeah.
She goes, and even when he was a young player at Ohio State, he still got to go out there and speak as a representative of Ohio State. I was like, that's called a captain. And yes, he did speak for everybody. And it's like she took pride in the fact that he was well-spoken rather than anything he did on the field or the NFL.
Yeah.
It's like, I just, everything about that, that's awesome.
Next pick, Marcus Gaines.
Nice. Nice.
Dude, he gave us the food crawl.
Yeah.
Dude.
I was almost going to be like, well, he was on this one, so I can't draft. No, I'm drafting him.
Yeah, no, he was on. He was on.
Do you guys have a couple dollars in your pocket? Let's put it together and just pay him right now for the trademark of food crawl because we're about to. That shit is too good.
When he said that, I'm like, I've never heard someone spoke to my soul more.
Dude, I just would love it more.
Yeah.
Like you look at St. Patrick's Day and you're like, gotta do it again.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I think the next day from a food crawl, just like you would feel just as bad as a bar crawl.
Maybe.
But you might be waking up puking. Like, especially like Casa, Carl's, Roosters. Throw a Los in there. I'll probably hit Los up as well.
Yeah, but there's a problem on St. Patrick's Day. Green beer, Labatt, bat. It's just like you sit there and you get a mixed cocktail of like, oh, this is our Irish Shamrock Martini. You house that. Next thing you know, you're pooping for days.
Pooping green for days.
Right.
Tony, who are you going for your fourth pick?
Man, I got to talk and all that stuff. Oh, Keith Embrock.
Fuck! I really thought he was going to make it back to me.
So I loved every second of it. I loved that when he ended it, I felt like he respected the fact that we cared about him. I also
when he said that it was one of the best interviews he's ever did, I almost fucking fainted on the floor.
Wait, I thought he said it was the best interview he's ever done, but the weirdo who knows everything about me was kind of scared.
He said, well, that's a little stalkery, but I'll answer the question. That was awesome.
But nonetheless, he was absolutely great, and to me, somebody that can come on and still be willing, when we talked about the documentary, one question about it.
Yeah.
The one thing I say is I never quit a thing in my life.
Yeah.
I'm like.
That was awesome.
Come on.
Awesome. Which, going back to that, I know he was referring to the one that just came out on Peacock.
Yep.
I was talking about the More Than a Game that came out in 2008. But after he said that, I'm like, I ain't correcting it. That's the coolest fucking thing.
Well, they corrected it, and you knew, like, to me, I'm just sitting there.
Because they painted, now, the More Than a Game, I feel like they kind of covered that pretty well. Of like, listen, man, like, high school or college, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? But the one that just came out on Peacock, I don't know, they paying him in a bad light, I think, for, like, no reason at all. Yeah, Keith was amazing, man. That's a legendary coach to have on the show.
To me, the family aspect of it, getting him to talk to him about the Sojourner Truth Monument and stuff like that, that's huge.
Yeah.
I'm a mommy's boy. You know, I lost mine young, so it's like, I don't know. It was cool to me to sit there and kind of hear him talk about it. And then even say that he's coming back to Akron. That's a huge thing for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You leave, you go do, good things. He could sit around that Duquesne campus, chill for a while, and get these types of things. He's just like, no, we're figuring out a way to get back to Akron pretty much immediately. And that just says something, man. Hometown pride.
All right, so my turn here. Man, I got a lot of ways I can go. I'm going to go. So Blake was great. And Matt is always great when he comes on. But I'm going to go with Newt.
Honestly, if you can probably just draft the three of them as a whole.
Right? That's
Like
kind of
the hoops.
That's what I was trying to figure out here. I was like, I liked all three of them.
I think you get Newton Blake.
Or you get the Fasher,
Yeah.
the Godfather.
I'll go with Newton Blake just because Newt's debacle of the tailgate.
his
play.
fumbling
What
on
did
the
he say?
tailgate.
Chick-fil-A platter? What was his?
He said Chick-fil-A.
It's not a bad. It wasn't a bad meal.
It
It's
was
just,
a good meal. It wasn't a good tailgate play.
Yeah, it's
is
more of
what
like
my memory was.
Yeah, I know. After the Xavier game, we definitely did not go to
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. I just love how show wasn't over yet. Get a text from Matt. What the hell? He's like, I'm sorry about that. So I'm gonna put the Hoops boys there, and then man, because
You guys have one more?
I think.
I said, are we
two
gonna
more.
go? Are we gonna go?
Dude, we're doing 5 in an honorable mention.
Okay, that's
You want to do
fine,
5 in honorable mention?
Then that would be 2 more. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're at 4. Do you just want to go ahead and do 6, or do you want to do 5?
Do you guys want to stop the draft and go through this list and maybe bust off a couple comments about each one?
Let's do one more round. Let's do the 5, and then we'll do that.
And we'll see if I have anything we're missing.
Man, I really thought that time was going to give me time to pick one, but I can't make up my mind.
Moose Miller was a good pick, by the way.
He was. I thought I was going to steal him late in the round.
I thought he
You
was
know,
too.
I'm going to go.
My favorite.
If you
guest
take
is
this one
you
because
guys.
you just came up with it, I'm going to be pissed.
No, I'm going to go with another recency bias. Okay. We had a lot of great coaches, a lot of big-time names and stuff like that. I'm going to go, though, with Peyton Cottle. That was hell
of a last name.
Yeah, I really enjoyed talking to him. I thought he gave us some great answers and everything like that. I thought he handled himself well. I just really enjoyed talking to that kid. I thought he had great conversations. So I'm going to go with Peyton Cottle.
Damn, it makes me want to rethink stuff now. Oh, we get an honorable mention. Okay.
All right, Tony, you're up. This is going to be your last pick.
I shouldn't have looked at this paper.
Right? Because
I was so set up with.
There's too many. Hey, thank God there's too many names to pick through.
Again, I'll take one that I enjoyed most, and it's Todd Snowden.
JT Snowden?
JT.
Yeah. Damn, I'm sorry, JT.
So, I'm
I
sorry
completely kind of forgot he was on the show.
So I mispronounced your name, but what I will say is I respected the hell out of the interview and getting to talk to him and even talk to him about the music that he chose for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was really cool to me to watch the video, and then when that questions that I asked, I felt like he was kind of online with like that Wes Anderson style.
I want to say his video just got actually approved for it got resubmitted in LA. I could be wrong. It could not be LA, but like a LA movie festival.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to double check to see what it is, but I know that he did just get resubmitted.
Dude, he's won 5 or 6 awards from that film alone.
So,
and
do
he's
you guys know Wes Anderson?
Who?
By chance, he made Grand Budapest Hotel. Are you familiar with him at all?
I've heard of the name, yeah.
Phenomenal because he makes movies that when you stop watching it, you're like, there was no script.
Yeah.
I just watched an hour and a half of somebody's life, and the way that he did it, I felt like it wasn't a script. It felt like it was filming some dude going through a really, really bad day.
Yeah,
and that's
I couldn't find
cool.
the festival, but he's working on Bluegrass. It's a new film.
It's a horror
we
film.
We might know someone that can give him a soundtrack for that.
Yeah, it's a horror. So JT not big on horror films.
Kind of like a Cabin Fever-esque thing. It's just based off of his post. I don't.
We got
what I like about
we got to tell him Moose, bring him back hometown.
What I like about that is he's going out of his element. Some directors are like, hey, I'm good at comedy movies. I'm making comedy movies. That's it.
It's like a Jordan Peele.
Yeah. Where JT's like, he's not big on scary movies. I'm not gonna say he doesn't like watching them. I'm not like that. I just know he doesn't really like making them a whole lot. But he wanted to challenge himself, And somebody that just won all those awards for a short film, normally their next reaction isn't, "Let me try something I'm not good at." You know what I mean? So he's he's actually in the works of making 2 films right now at one time. So, kid's putting in the work. We gotta have him on the show again. Sorry, I didn't draft you, JT. That one went over my head.
Is it back to me?
Yes, this is gonna be your final pick.
Final pick. I'm going Brent Spricks. I'm going Brent.
So, okay. I had him and Shu in the same category for me because him and Shu were like in studio.
Yep.
For me, it was kind of hard to because Shu for me, I almost don't even consider him a guest anymore. You know what I mean? He's like
friend of the show.
Friend of the show. Yeah.
With Brent, where he's only come on twice, I would still consider him a guest. So yeah.
Honorable mention. Almost flip these two. I think I will
Wait,
flip
you
them,
can't
actually.
take his pick.
It was
No,
my pick.
draft's over.
Oh,
Draft's over. Draft's over.
So
Yep.
Brent is going to be my honorable mention, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, Cole Miller is my 5th pick. Because,
Nice.
Yeah, because
yes.
he was the number 1. So
You not only number 1. Yeah, he was the number 1 interview ever.
Numero uno.
First interview of the Ride the Wave show ever. Now, I'm gonna give an honorable mention that sucked. The fucking baseball guy.
I knew
He
you
was
were
so terrible.
I read
That-
his name today
What?
in the list.
I don't even remember his name. The guy that started all those baseball leagues and stuff. If we had like a worse person to come on the show, he would just be the whole draft. I don't know.
The
was
guy
crazy.
that like started his own team or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would put
I'm
him.
I'm gonna get his name.
I'd put him in number 1 worst because first he's like messages like he's some rich big guy, blah blah blah. He messages from like his 1-room condo. Yeah, so I just had to get one out there. That, a certain individual scheduled one interview.
Is it my honorable mention yet?
And it was the worst fucking interview of all time. Worst guest. Sorry, get him out.
This person made me think of like the complete opposite, but is also very forgotten about in terms of guests.
Okay.
Are ready?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know if I was allowed to go, but Misty V.
Yeah.
Yeah. She
Bro.
was great. And she's been hosting comedy events here lately. Hosting, not just the main act, actually hosting them.
And then, wait, I'm talking the athletic trainer? Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, she's in
Because
comedy too.
she comes on completely real the entire time. It's
Yeah.
like, yes, I've worked with NFL athletes. Yes, I've done I literally took what I wanted to do and was completely successful.
And
then comes back and drops the soccer goalie story, which was
Yes.
just wonderful.
And
I cannot find this guy's video on here to get this guy's name for
He's
worst
like,
show
gotta be
ever.
like 6 or 7.
And she came from, and she won't mind me saying this because she tells like this part of her. She came from nothing. You know what I mean? Like literally nothing in Greenfield, all the way to. I mean, one of her best friends is Ryan fucking Clark. You know what I mean of the Steelers. So like, but yeah, I guess my honorable mention that's not the worst interview of all time is going to be Shu. Just because
Casey Dill is that dude's name.
Yeah, fuck Casey Dill.
Yeah.
Just so we're all clear. Fuck that guy.
You'll never guess who he came on with. Like what other 2 people were on.
I think I could guess.
Maybe one for sure, but the other one you could.
Was it one of the litter media?
Oh, his
people?
name was picked. Like his name was picked here.
Garen?
It was Garen Varys.
Yeah.
Episode 4, Garen
wow.
Varys. And I believe Brock Netter was also on there.
Yeah. So fuck Casey Dill, man. I'm sorry. I don't care if you're watching this, Casey.
He's just been
Not-
on one. He's
not
like,
fair.
man, I thought we liked you. I thought you liked us.
It's like he messaged me. I've watched every episode since I was on. Listen, we want everyone to watch.
We just went from 12 to 11.
But you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That guy, what he was telling us he was versus what was delivered, like was
It might not even be him that was so
I was
bad.
about to say, was
It's not-
there some misinformation
So
lying?
here's my biggest thing about him is like he definitely did some cool stuff, but like what I want from an interview is to give someone watching something.
Yeah.
You gave us a lot of accolades. You've done a great things. You started like a minor league team or whatever it is.
Something like that.
But I felt like he wrote his own hype tape. Like
Literally.
I'm really not trying to diss the guy.
Like,
I
think,
am.
That's early on in our show.
am.
Come
Yeah,
on.
I don't
early
know
on
if it
in
was
the
so
show.
much Casey as it was
As the
beer
person that got Casey
It was
on,
the beer spiller. It was the beer spiller.
I think it was a mix of the two. there.
I'm all right with it. We gotta have these guests. You know what I mean? I love.
Oh yes, literally every other guest that we've had on this show, I've absolutely loved.
Yeah.
Casey Dale, get the fuck out of here. Derek, is there any guest that we didn't name that you would like to bring up? Yeah, I think I ruined your brain with that Casey Dill shit. Guys, anybody else that we missed? I don't have a list in front of me.
Honorable mention: Corey Dye.
Yeah, another guy that was a first on the show. I wanted to pick him, but I didn't want to seem too homely.
I couldn't pick
Definitely would have
Matt Hoops because I didn't want him thinking I was just had a huge crush on him because I always talk about how he's the most attractive guy in the SBC as a coach, so I couldn't just be like,
literally anytime like a Hoops or Yoda people come on, we used to, yeah, by the way, Matt Hoops really handsome.
yeah.
I literally told somebody at work, I was like, Adina played Yoda in basketball. We're like, the battle of the best looking guys.
If I had to say my favorite like interaction of the basketball season, just to like go smaller scope, was at the preview when we had Hoops come on, and I said the best looking coach ever, and it stumbled him, so he just smacked my leg as hard as he could. Couldn't think about anything but ow, like my leg is stinging.
Mine for basketball, because it wasn't really guests on the show, but when we did the Yoda Zane Trace student sections, that first Yoda Zane Trace game, that was amazing. Not really a guest on the show, but an interview we did as well with Ethan Summer. When we interviewed him after that Piketon game, and he was like, "We're coming," and just staring at the camera, I was like, "Oh shit!" Like this guy is ready for murder.
Was it Dollison in the Yoda?
Mm-hmm. In the student section,
crazy trash talker. But
yeah.
And then who was with Aiden? Because there was also somebody in the Zane Trace that was like an elite level.
I didn't
trash
know
talker.
all of them. Let me tell you, Matt Hoops didn't appreciate it. Let me tell you that. He did not appreciate that student section. Man, we might have to have this draft again sometime because there's a lot of names that we left out. Literally, I tried to play the game, and you guys took them all again. That was another one of those drafts.
Well, the female wrestler we had on, I apologize on blanking on her name.
Yeah, McKenna.
Oh, yeah, from Jackson.
She was
phenomenal.
Electric.
Like another one that stuck out to me to be like, that was fun.
This could have
been. I
been.
Say she just posted something about like a tournament that she was in or like a summer.
Yeah, I think it's when she was talking about going to other states. Yeah. Like it's one of those like
beating dudes.
I almost want to ask her like, so we found that chick that went to Iowa yet?
Well, it's also she goes, yeah, I've lost. I lost to a boy in West Virginia 2 years ago. I was just like, what?
So you haven't lost. Cool.
Let's go.
Just so we're all clear, we could have had 10 rounds of this draft. We've had all the guests.
When you really think about it, 15 plus the honorable mention, like,
yeah,
that's almost 20 guests.
So all of our guests that came on, that's not Casey Dill, thank you. I mean, we love you. It's been an absolute honor to have you on. Thank you to everybody that's watched, supported us, been there with us from the beginning. I want to give a super fan shout out. Sight. Man, that guy literally comes up to me all the time. He goes, every Tuesday, bud. Every Tuesday. Like,
which one?
Huh?
Talk about Sights.
Coach Sights, the guy that lives up by you. Am I saying his name wrong?
The second best looking man in Applewood. Every time I see him, I lean out of the car. I'm like, that's a good looking man right there. My wife is like, what are you doing? I'm like, just shut up and tell me he's good looking.
But yeah, again, we know whenever we came out with the show that we didn't look like, your typical group of guys to be covering high school sports.
Didn't ask typical questions.
No. But we really are honored and thank every single one of you for tuning in every single Tuesday, liking our stuff on social media. We've gotten a lot of kind words from you guys. Just know, we're here because we love this area. We love this area of sports. We just want to get more out there. Quincy Wilson also another one that didn't make the list. Yeah, so we thank you guys, and we can't wait to see you next Tuesday.
Can't wait to see you next year.
Yeah, and buckle up. It's going to be a fun season. Football coming up, volleyball and fantasy. It's going to be a good time. Thank you guys for tuning in and being a part of our favorite thing in life. Peace out, Girl Scouts.